And good evening, everybody. Welcome back to regular programming here. We're back with Steins Gate Zero, live and exclusive hits of YouTube. I'm your host, Swishbone, and tonight, I'm all alone again. Yes, for those of you who weren't here on the New Year's Eve, by the way, a massive Happy New Year to all of you. We start 2022, and we're getting ready to carry on exactly where we left off in the midst of this time travel craziness. If you were there for the New Year's stream and you saw the greeting live, well, once again, good and Happy New Year to all of you, and our little games jam with a special shout out to my friend Nerdy Hound, who joined me live in the studio, so to speak, for that one. Hopefully we're going to do that again in the future. We'll see if we can sort something out, dependent on your feedback, of course. So, for those of you out there, of course, the chat box is open as usual, so get your comments in there, just like Queen already has, saying hello and good evening. Good evening to you. Welcome once more. As we carry on picking up the story where we've just reached a point that suggests we might potentially be facing a choice in terms of where we go, and I'm interested to see what happens next. So here we go. The first time I went into Lakako's room, it really did look like a girl's room. Wow, you're both soaked! You better hurry and change! Yanabayashi's shrine was closer to the radio building than the lab, so I decided to bring Kagari there. Mayuri had sent me a message on the way, so I had her come here first. I figured that Kagari needed Mommy Mayuri right now more than she needed me.
Mama.
Mommy. Just like I thought, the second she saw Mayuri's face, she relaxed a little. You must have been so cold, right? I'll get a bath ready. Lukako handed us towels to wipe away the rain, and ran out of the room to start the bath. Meanwhile, Avia jumping in saying hi, good evening to you as well, to say you were both there for the New Year's jam. Did you enjoy that kind of craziness? Are we going to enjoy a much more sedate stream tonight? This is Steins Gate. No, we're not. Not a chance.
I
want to take a bath with you, Mommy. With Mayushi? Sure, okay. But what will you do, Okabe? Lie down in a darkened room and try to come to terms with what he's just seen. I'm thinking it's probably where he's going to be going.
Yeah, 俺はいい。Kagariを先に入れてやってくれ。
Oh, I'm fine. You guys can go first.
ありがとう。オカリンも風邪ひいちゃうから、着替えだけでもしてね。
Okay, thanks. Make sure you change so you don't catch a cold, okay?
なんとかする。
I'll work something out. And as you say, Avia, you say it was a good way to ring in the new year. Well, I'm very pleased to hear that. And as you say, you can't believe it's 2022. Neither can I. In just under 9 months, I turn 40. I don't believe that's happening. It can't be happening. Maybe I could borrow Lukaku's father's clothes. Just as I got to leave the room. Kagari? What's wrong, Kagari? Something was wrong with Kagari. She was staring at Miyuri's face, confused. Here we are, I think it's the return of Karisu again.
Kagari?
Kagari.
誰?
Who are you?
え?
Huh?
あなたは誰?
Who are you?
マユシーだよ、カガリちゃん。
It's me, Mayushi. Kagari?
カガリ、私の名前?
Kagari? My name? Yeah, you're holding that age. I don't blame you, Avian. I went over the precipice after that a long time ago. But then again, as they say, age is just a number. It's how young you feel. That's the excuse I give myself when I do all the cosplays and crazy shit online. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. So, there. I told you, detractors. Kagari. My name?
かがり
Kagari.
違う。私は
No. I'm... And he's gonna be like, don't say it. Don't say it.
誰なの？私は
Who am I? I'm... Yeah, I'm not VAing that, I don't need to. That shriek was far better than anything I could do. Kagari tore at her hair and let loose a cry that sounded like it came from the pits of hell.
しっかりしろかがり
Get a hold of yourself, Kagari! Ah! It hurts! It hurts! It hurts so much! Queen, so the resistance held for 7 years and then finally it snapped. 7 years is good going. That's excellent going. I mean, like Avian, yeah, this trope, it's not brilliant, is it? It's really not.
痛いよママ。助けて。パパ、助けて。
It hurts! It hurts, Mommy! Help me! Help me, Daddy! Aristotle Judge jumping on the chat, saying, oh, we all had a happy new year, and how was the last stream? We had a very happy new year. The stream went on till 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was awesome. We got through quite a lot of games, including, as you say, you saw the brief part for Shin Megami Tensei 5, but we did a few more as well, including Tony Hawk, WWE 2007, and even a little bit of Animal Crossing in there. We did a bit of everything. In fact, it's worth checking out the countdown we did till midnight, because that's a rather special way of doing it. I don't understand the 29 thing. It's like, again, it's just a number.
誰か助けて。私を助けてよ。
Someone save me! Save me!
誰か助け
Someone save me! And then she's passed out. Kagari! She was like a puppet whose strings had been cut. Bruh. Just bruh. All the strength left her body and she fell forward. By the time I left Lukaku's house, the rain had stopped. Okay, we've gone for someone collapse to him leaving in the rain. We waited for a while after that, but Kagami showed no signs of waking up. She looked peaceful as she was sleeping, so I decided to leave her to Miyuri and Lukaku and head back to the lab. According to the two of them, she got confused several times in the past, but never like this. We might have underestimated how dangerous her situation really was. Her brain was probably under a lot of stress lately. We needed a way to deal with this, and now. But for that... Get it! I did it! The second I opened the door, I heard Maho and Daru yelling. Really? I ran inside without even taking the time to remove my shoes.
Ocarine! Nantsu good timing!
Oh, Ocarine! Perfect timing!
岡部さん、びしょ濡れじゃない。
Okabe, you're soaked!
そんなことはどうでもいいそれよりもやったのか
That doesn't matter! Did you guys pull it off? Uh-huh. Daru gave me a thumbs up.
でかしたダル
Nice work, Daru!
スーパーハッカーなのだぜ これくらい当然だっつーの。
I'm a super hacker. This is nothing. And yeah, I hate the rain as well, Avian. I was out on one of my 20-kilometre walks earlier today, and I was up above the mist line, and the rain there was painful. It was like a very, very strong wind lashing it at my face. Hoods were useless. Wind was too strong, so I had to just march through it. Burned a few extra 100 calories, hopefully. He could say that, but I knew exactly how much talent and effort it took to hack CERN. Your average hacker couldn't do it. And actually, fair point, Queen, yes, rain is still better than snow. Snow is icky and annoying. The name Super Hacker wasn't just for show.
ヒヤジョーさんはヒヤジョーさんの方も完成したのか
What about you, Hyajo? Were you successful too?
私だってこれくらいどうってことなかったわ。
I'm pretty good at my job too, you know. Maho stuck her thumb up just like Daru had.
さすがだな
Wow.
まあこれも全部あなたやかがりさんから情報を得られたからなんだけど。
Well, this was all thanks to the information you and Kagari gave me.
そういう意味ではかがりさんの中にクリスの記憶が残っていて助かったわね。
In that sense, we were lucky that she had Carisu's memories.
いやそれでも完成させたのはヒヤジョーさんの力だ
No, you were the one who did the work. And ouch, Avian, that sounds annoying that no matter what, it rained any time you met up. Good idea to bring the coat. You'd like it over here in Britain. It's like the rainy season started in 1492 and never really stopped.
ありがとう。その言葉素直に受け取っておくわ。
Thanks. I'll just accept the compliment.
あとは実際にきちんと機能するかどうかが問題だけど、こればっかりは試してみるわけにもいかないのよね。
Now the question is to find out whether it works. The only way is to try it.
そうだな
You're right.
僕はキッチン二郎3回な。
I want free trips to Kitchen Jiro. Sure thing. Anyway, everything was ready. All that was left was to find out who they were. But that was still the biggest problem.
それじゃ私はちょっと眠らせてもらうわ。さすがに疲れた。
Phew. Okay, I'm going to get some rest. I'm pretty tired. The sound of a ringing phone cut her off.
もう誰よ。人がこれから寝ようって時に。
Jeez, who is it? I'm about to go to sleep.
はい、もしもし。
Yes, hello? She muttered to herself as she took the phone to the back of the development room.
で、かがりたんの方はどうなん？
So, how's Kagari-tan doing?
それなんだが
About that. Just as I spoke, a line message arrived. And it's from... who? Kagami woke up. She's calmed down. A small sigh of relief was sent back an answer. Got it. Sorry, can you look after her for a while? I'll contact you if I need you.
実はあまり良くない今日なんて真由りのことすら分からなくなった
It's not good, actually. She forgot who Miyuri was today.
マジで。
Seriously?
それだけじゃないその後ひどい頭痛を訴えて意識を失った
That's not all. Right after that, she started complaining about a horrible headache and passed out.
それ、まずくね？
That's bad, isn't it?
まずいななんとかしないと
It is. We need to do something. But unless we knew who we were up against, there was nothing we could do.
本当ですか？
What? You sure? Dara and I exchanged glances at the sudden voice from the development room.
マホタン、どうしたん？
Maho-san, what's wrong?
何かあったのか
Did something happen? When we looked inside, Maho turned around in a state of shock.
荒らされたって。私の借りてたホテルの部屋。
Someone ransacked my hotel room. Yeah, well, I kind of expected that to happen. Do a quick save while I can. I'll put it over... I've not actually made a choice, actually, to be fair, so I'm going to keep it there for now. Ah, yes. Very true that you don't have to shovel rain. I remember breaking my back having to do that on the driveway once. Many, many years ago. Was not fun. Though that's not as backbreaking as removing wood chip wallpaper. Not even an industrial streamer and a carpenter's chisel got that off easily. The car was from the hotel. Maho was staying at a business hotel in Waco City. Sometime in the past few days while she'd been staying here, someone had ransacked it. She'd left her keycard with the front desk, but there were signs that the lock had been picked. She'd just given her okay to search the room.
それで詳しい状況は分かったのか
So, did they find anything?
今から警察に連絡するから、何が盗まれてるか調べるためにも早く戻ってこいって。
They're just about to call the police, and they want me to come back and see if anything's been stolen.
じゃあ何が取られたかわからんってこと？もしかして下着とかも？
They don't know what was taken. Maybe they stole your underwear. And you'd be the prime suspect, wouldn't you, Daru?
そういうのは全部持ってきてるわよ。セクハラで訴えましょうか？
I brought all that with me. Do you want me to sue you for sexual harassment?
うひー、それだけは勘弁。
Please don't.
まあ、私の部屋って普段から散らかってるから、荒らされてるように見えただけって可能性もある。楽観的に考えればね。
My room's always a mess anyway, so it's possible it just looked like someone ransacked it. If I want to be optimistic, that is.
Ah, nasty. Shoveling a gravel pit. Especially when they dump it in the wrong parts of the house and you have to wheel it into the back. I remember once doing a community project for a community centre, repairing their back garden area to make it a communal garden. I was having to rip tree roots out with my bare hands. That hurt. Good workout, but it hurt.
鍵が開けられてたって言うから、誰かが入ったのは間違いないでしょうけど。
They said the lock was forced, so it's almost certain that someone broke in.
実はついこの間もオフィスの方が荒らされたことがあって。
Actually, the same thing happened at the office not too long ago.
じゃあ単なる偶然じゃないな。何者かがヒヤジョーさんの持っている何かを探しているんだ。
Then it's not just a coincidence. Someone is after something you've got.
そうね。でも何を探しているのかは見当がついてるわ。
That's right. I think I know what it is.
Oh god, Avian, yeah, that must have been annoying. You're trying to wheel the gravel back and then the doggo's dropping its slobber-covered tennis ball right in the way. Getting one of them under the wheel would have made that gravel go all over the garden again. And yes, it did hurt, Avian, but hey-ho, I survived. I'm a stronger man as a result of it. That's what I tell myself when my arm snaps.
なんだ
What is it?
クリスのノート PC よ。
Chris's laptop.
あれか
That! Putting all the pieces together, it seemed the most likely option. I could be sure that whoever tried to overwrite Kaguri's memories was the same group that attacked her in the other world line. Whoever these people were, they were after the time machine theory hidden inside Kurisu's memories. But since their experiment had failed and Kaguri had escaped, they turned their attention to the other thing Kurisu had left behind. The laptop and hard drive that Maho had. But if they were after that, did that mean they had it now?
つかその PC ってこの前マホタンが僕に託したやつ？
Wait, is that computer the one you gave me?
何
What?
実はね、どうしてもパスワードを解析したくて、ここにこもるようになってから橋田さんにお願いしたの。
I really wanted to crack the password, so once I started staying here, I gave it to Hashida.
それじゃあノート PC は
Then the laptop.
無事のはずよ。
It should be safe, right?
もちろん今は僕の秘密のアジトにあるのだぜ。
Yep, it's in my secret hideout right now.
つってもずっとセルンのハッキングにかかりきりだったからまだパスワードは解析できてないけどね。
But since I've been so busy with hacking CERN, I haven't had time to analyze it. That made me feel a lot better. Now, if only we knew who had broken into her room. But it wouldn't be that easy. Still, if they'd done something like that, they must be starting to panic. What would they do next? Wait a second.
もしかしたらこれは使えるかもしれない。
We may be able to use this.
使えるって？
Use it? I didn't want to waste time explaining, so I just took out my cell phone and made the call. Oh. Several days later. So we're going straight to the several days later point. I didn't have an option to change the call. Is it going to be a case of calling Leskinen? Maybe? Or Moeka? Who else could he have called? Kagari's condition was getting worse. Oh, now we're in Kagari mode, okay. Staccato footsteps echoed through the darkness. Akihabara got quiet early. The ever-busy electronics stores, the concert halls filled with cheers, and the coffee shops full of laughter. All of that gave way to silence as soon as night fell. Nope, not true. In Akihabara, it becomes a major nightlife zone. All the maids come out in force to get people into the streets. The arcades are busier than ever, and you even occasionally have big motor racing events with go-karts. So this is not the Akihabara I know. A single set of footsteps walked slowly through the silence, never breaking rhythm. They belonged to a girl. It was dark, and so it was hard to see her clearly. But it was very clear that she was acting strange. She had a cap pulled down over her face, and was trying to avoid anyone seeing her as she walked. So this is back in Kagari's past, it must be. As if she was hiding from someone. As if someone was chasing her. And just as she was about to turn a corner, several men jumped out in front of her. That's very true, Iris. Yes, Shibuya does have bigger nightlife, especially if you go into Roppongi, the sister zone to Shibuya. That's where you get all the nightclubs going on. But I won't recommend going to Roppongi, by the way, if you're ever out there, because the people that run their nightclubs are shadiest of the shady. So nightlife in Shibuya is kind of cool, actually. The girl stopped in surprise. Suddenly there were men behind her too.
Shina
Kagari, right? One of the men spoke. His Japanese was fluent, but if she'd listened carefully, she might have detected a trace of a foreign accent. Plus, he's not going to look very Japanese, because you can see, while that guy there does look like it, all the others have got much more European and American features. I'm not saying that doesn't mean they're not Japanese, but it's unlikely. Meanwhile, we've got King Junk. And then, Junk Pass. That's what that is. Yeah, Junk Pass. The girl they called Kagari was helpless as they surrounded her. One of the men thought to himself, "This is the easiest job in the world." All they had to do was kidnap a single, helpless-looking girl. Oh wow, there's a line I never wanted to say on stream before. Apologies if that's offended anybody, because I wasn't trying to. There was no need to bring this many people. Depends if she's Alice. Shindigiridu? No, wasn't just him. Almost everyone there felt the same way. Stay calm and we won't hurt you. The men gradually began to close in, The girl simply stood there, afraid, and showed no signs of resistance. This was too easy. Just as the man smiled and reached out his hand, he thought he heard the sound of something slicing through the air. Then he fell to the ground, clutching his hand. It looked like 3 sausages lying on the ground. Ew. Before they realised that the sausages were the man's fingers, another man went down from a high kick to the head. The men began to howl in rage.
You fucking bitch!
I don't need to translate that. That's awesome. They leapt at the girl, swearing. We kind of seen that, but cool. But yeah, I'll leave that one as it is as well. One of the men who was trying to attack her from behind suddenly screamed.
Oi, oi. 静かにしな。あんまりうるさくすると、おめえらも困るんじゃねえのか?
You need to cool it. You don't want to make a lot of noise either, do you? That is the sound of Tenoji, I think. A huge man came out of the darkness, silhouetted by the moon. I'm almost certain that was Tenoji's voice. Almost certain. Oh. Is that Okabe?
すごいな。
Wow. That was all I could say as I watched these tough men go down, one after another. I knew from his size that Tenoji was strong. It was the other girl that really shocked me. Her disguise ruined, Suzuha jumped around like a cat. Each time she moved, the men around her quivered. Ah, yes, best girl. We knew that Kagure was dangerous, but not as dangerous as best girl. Absolutely not. I knew she'd undergone combat training, but I had no idea she was this strong when she was serious. The kicks from her long, lithe legs were like a work of art. The fact that she sliced off three of one guy's fingers without even batting an eyelid. She's fucking amazing. I love Suzuha.
やるじゃねえか、バイト。
Not bad, part-timer.
店長もね。
You too, boss. The men fell to the ground without even having the time to draw their knives and guns. Several days earlier, when I realized that the enemy was probably starting to panic, I came up with a plan. In the last world line, Moeka had told me that someone was looking for Kagari. I wondered if that was true in this world line too. So I asked Moeka to leak some information for me. I was right, I did say it was Moeka. We probably didn't have to describe the legs, Avian, but to be fair, it wasn't exactly a perverse description either, was it? It just made it clear that she was able to get to the kind of height she was kicking because of the length, because she's not the tallest character, Suzuha. So it kind of makes sense from a physical description point of view. So I can actually give that one a pass. Unlike many of the other times, I can actually explain that one. A girl matching Shina Kagure's description came down this road at the same time every day. And today, a few days later, they'd all taken the bait. I hung back behind the corner of the alley, watching them fight. I felt kind of pathetic. But it was obvious that not only would I be of no help whatsoever, I'd actually just get in the way. So it was smarter to leave it to them.
そっちはどう?
How are things on your side? I heard Dara's voice from the earphone on one of my ears. I called him and left the call connected so we could talk at any time.
鈴葉は大丈夫? 怪我してない?
Is Suzuha okay? Is she hurt? Dara had been opposed to Suzuha's plan to use herself as a decoy. He must have been worried about putting his daughter in danger.
心配いらない。お前の娘は想像よりずっとすごいよ。
Don't worry. She's a lot more amazing than you realise. Yes, Okabe, you're finally waking up to my way of thinking. It's taken you long enough.
そりゃ僕の娘だからね。でも傷物になんかされたらオカリン一生恨むからな。
Well, she is my daughter, but if she gets hurt, I'm gonna hate you forever, Ocarine. And Daru would be correct. So I can completely relate to that one. I'm not a father myself, but I'd think exactly the same way if it was my daughter. Although mine would be more like, if any harm comes to her, I'm going to take you into a darkened room, and they're not going to find any of you left. There's going to be so little of you left behind, even the worms will not have to chew. And Okabe would be like, someone get the cops, my friend's a psychopath. And he'd be wrong. I think. He'd be better off worrying about the people she was fighting. It's an interesting point you raise, Avian, about why is it weird for Kagari to call Mayuri mommy when Suzuha calls Daru dad. And I think the only way I can explain it is that obviously Okabe is known for a long time and has also seen them meet previously in another ward line, so he's just more accepting of it. It's not a very good reason. It's actually a very poor reason, but it's the only reason I can think of. I suddenly heard a high-pitched whistle. At the signal, the men started to turn and run. They'd realized they'd fallen into a trap and decided to retreat.
おっと、そうはいくかよ。
Sorry, not happening! Tanoji's giant arms grabbed one of the men's hands. But... Oh, is that a suppressed shot? There was a hollow popping sound and the man's body went limp. No way. He was dead? He took his own life? Echo! He's coming to watch you! A piercing yell brought me back to my senses. One of the men was coming toward the alleyway where I was hiding. Our goal was to capture them and make them tell us who they were working for. If we couldn't do that, all of this would be for nothing. I ran out in front of the man without even thinking. My sudden appearance caused him to hesitate for a moment, but he kept charging without dropping his speed. I saw that he was holding onto something shiny near his waist. And what you do here, if you're Okabe, believe it or not, is you drop and roll. If you drop and roll, you'll trip him. It's the last thing you'll see coming. Act like you're on fire. Stop, drop and roll. Yeah! Just as he hit me, Suzuha slammed into him with a jump kick.
おっと
Gotcha! The kick knocked him directly into Tanoji's waiting arms. He caught him easily, spun the man's arms around his back so he couldn't hurt himself.
おじさん、怪我は
Uncle, are you hurt?
大丈夫？
Are you okay?
なんともない。
I'm fine.
オカリン、どうしたん？何があった？
Ocarine, what's wrong? What happened?
心配するな。こっちはみんな無事だ。それより鈴葉、奴は
Don't worry. Everyone's safe. Suzuha, did we get him? Somebody needs a hug, Queen. Well, it sounds like that guy's being given a hug. More a bear hug than the one that he really wants, but hey ho. You gotta take what you're given, I suppose. I'm out of coffee. Boo. Onto the water then, I guess. Something like a scream came out of his mouth. At some point, Tanoji had jammed what looked like a towel into it. He was probably trying to keep him from killing himself like the last guy.
おいおい、あんまり暴れるんじゃねえよ。騒ぎになって困るのはおめえもだろうが。
Hey, cool it. You're the one who's gonna have a bad time if there's a fuss.
それにまだ1本目だぜ。情けねえ。あとまだ9本も残ってる。
And we're still only on the first one, pussy. We've got 9 more to go. 9 more what? Methods to make him talk? Is that what he's getting at here? Am I gonna have to age restrict this stream? We shall find out, I guess.
それが終わったら目だ。それから両方の耳、鼻。まだまだお楽しみはいっぱいあるんだぜ。
Then we got the eyes, limbo fears, the nose. There's lots of fun in store for you. His voice was cold. This was the real Tsunoji. This was FB. I wanted to look away, but Suzuha was watching without flinching in the slightest. But Suzuha's been on the battlefield. You saw her cut one guy's 3 fingers off. Suzuha's certified badass. You're not. You're very much the definition of civvy versus soldier here, Okabe.
俺だって面倒な真似はしたくねえ。どうせ吐くんなら早めに吐いた方がお互いのためだと思うぜ。
I don't want to spend a lot of time on this either. You're going to tell me in the end anyway. So isn't it better to just get it over with now? Yep, that's the sound of either a finger, a wrist, or an arm being broken there, people.
どうだもう一本いくか
Well, shall we go for number 2? Fair point, Queen, yep. Okabe's there, I got shot and Daru's like, but is Suzuha okay? He's like, you're not going to die till 2025, so shut up, Okabe, suck it up. What's going on with Suzuha? It's almost like in Mean Girls. Walk it off, walk it off. I'm guessing he's saying no there. The man shook his head violently.
最初からそうすりゃいいんだよ。で、おめえさんたちの元締めは誰だ
Should have just done that to start with. So, who are you working for? Tsunoji took the towel out of the man's mouth. He said something in a whisper so small I couldn't hear it. Tsunoji's pallor suddenly changed.
ストラト4
Stratfor.
冗談じゃねえだろな
Hey, you're not lying to me, are you? The man desperately shook his head again.
ストラト4かまた面倒な奴らが
Stratfor, huh? That's going to be a problem. Stratfor. I'd heard of them. Back when I was into conspiracy theories, I'd looked them up on the internet. Their real name was Strategic Focus, I think. They were an American civil intelligence company, sometimes called the Shadow CIA. Avian, you do raise a very good point. Should they really be doing it on the street? I mean, in all the times I've been to Akiba, it's quite a loud place. But someone being tortured is still going to stand out. You don't really conceal that very easily. They specialised in military matters, and their skills had supposedly been put to good use during the Iraq and Gulf Wars. If a certain rounder like Tsunoji said they were a problem, they probably were. This wasn't going to be easy. But now wasn't a time for being scared.
聞いたか誰今すぐにストラト4のサーバーにハッキングをかけてくれ
You hear that, Daru? Start hacking Stratfor's servers right now!
オキドキ
Okie dokie! Oh, just like that. It's like, Daru, you're a super hacker. There's a box of ramen in it if you can hack Stratfor's servers. Get to it! Oh, you got it, bro. Not a problem. I felt myself starting to relax after I completed my first objective. Stop breaking the fourth wall. Leave the fourth wall alone! But there wasn't time for that. This is where things really began.
どうしたの店長。何か気にかかることでも。
What's wrong, boss? Something bothering you?
いや、ストラトフォーといや民間の会社だぜ。
Nah. It's just that Stratford's a civilian company, you know.
いわば金によって雇われてる連中だ。そんな奴らがいくら捕まったからって自決までするか？
That means somebody's hiring them. No matter how many of these people you catch, is it really going to solve the problem? It seems strange, come to think of it.
おい、おめえ本当に？
Hey, you. Are you really? Tsunoji tried to wring the man's neck again, but...
気を失ってやがる。だらしねえやつだ。
Damn it, he passed out. What a wimp. Tsunoji sighed and took out a rope. They started to tie him up.
後始末は俺に任せて。おめえらは行け。
Let me clean this up. You guys go.
いいんですか？
You're sure?
これで終わりじゃねえんだろ。
This isn't the end, is it? I was a little curious what he intended to do with them, but...
わかりました。後のことはお願いします。
Alright, we'll let you take care of it. I had other priorities right now. I said my thanks to Tsunoji and hurried toward the lab with Suzuha.
おじさん、早く。
Uncle, hurry!
わかってる。
I know! Suzuha ran through the night like a panther. It was all I could do to keep up. I've always wondered about those kind of things, I always hated those kind of cliches. They ran like a madman, they ran like a panther. I don't know, it's just like, I've always wanted to use something better. It's like, she ran as if her ass was on fire or something like that, you know, just to add a bit more impetus to it. But maybe I'm too used to humour, maybe that's my problem. The path to the lab seemed far longer than it usually did. We finally made it to the lab. Miyuri, Faris, and everyone else were already waiting for us. And Kagari, too. Yeah, I don't need to translate that, do I? In fact, I'm going to do another quick save, because I've not yet had to make a decision. And this all screams a climax to me. Kagari was lying on the couch in obvious pain. Her breathing was shallow. Her complexion was pale. Something bad could happen to her at any moment.
なる。どうだ？
Daru, how's it going?
ちょい待ち。前にハッキングかけた時のルートがあるから今探ってる。
Just a sec. I got the route I used last time I hacked it. Checking it now.
前にって。お前、そんな危険なことをしてたのか？
The last time? Why did you do something so dangerous?
ちょっとね、友達と賭けでね、どっちが早くハックできるか勝負したんだ。ゴーゴーカレー1年分。
I almost predicted it. I said a box of ramen. Look at that. I practically predicted it. It was a bet with a buddy of mine. We were going to try and see who could hack it faster. We only got a year's worth of go-go curry. He probably had no idea how dangerous that was.
あれ？どっちが勝ったか聞かないん？
Huh? You're not going to ask who won? From the way he was acting, there was no need to even ask.
とにかく、急いでくれ。
Just hurry.
ラジャー。
Roger. Since their plan to steal back Kagari had failed, there was a good chance Stratford would resort to even more desperate measures. There was no time to waste. And...
おかり、顔色悪いよ。
Okabe, you're not looking so good.
いや、なんでもない。
No, it's nothing.
なんでもないことないにゃ。見せるにゃ。
It's not nothing, Nya. Let me see, Nya. Faris rips off my coat. You're really hurting ya!
岡部さん、違う。
Okabe, you're bleeding. Ocarine! I tried to avoid looking at it, but there was a lot more dark blood staining the side of my shirt than I expected to see. When a man stabbed me before, it must have gone in pretty deep.
問題ない。
I'm fine. Yeah, you need to get... this is where you need to, unfortunately, do something pretty painful. If you don't want to get seen by a hospital, you need to stop the bleeding. I won't describe how you do it, but from what I've seen, it involves... immolation to a degree. I'll leave it at that.
問題ないわけないにゃん。ルカにゃん、応急手当の用意を。
You are not fine, yeah? Lucanyan, get the first aid kit! Okay.
俺は大丈夫だ。
I'm okay.
前より。それよりも、係は
Forget about me. Miyuri, how's Kagari? Kagari, hang in there! Kagari's still lying on the sofa, panting for breath. For the last few days, she'd been getting weaker and weaker. Yep, Queen, you probably smack on the money there with that, and that's kind of why I'm not saying it. I'll leave it in the chat, but I'm not reading it out. I don't know who's listening. Oh, wow. That's a very ethereal pose, isn't it? It's almost like she's singing. Her hand reached up into the air.
ママ、どこにいるの？
Mummy, Mummy, where are you?
ママはここだよ。ちゃんとそばにいるよ。
Mummy's right here. I'm beside you. Mayuri grabbed her hand tightly, and she finally smiled a weak smile.
私、このまま消えちゃうのかな。
Mommy, tell me, am I just going to disappear?
大丈夫だよ。きっとオカリンとダルくんが何とかしてくれるから。
It's okay. Ocarine and Daru will do something.
オカリンさん。
Ocarine?
そうだよ。オカリン、わかるよね。
That's right. You know Ocarine, don't you?
オカリンさん。
Ocarine. Kagari's lifeless eyes turned towards
心
me.
配しなくていい。もう少しで元通りになる。
Don't worry. Just a little more. Just a little more and you'll be back to normal.
オカベさん。
Okabe. Huh?
私を消して。
Erase me.
係。
Kagari! No.
彼女の中から私を消して。
Erase me from within her.
このままじゃ彼女が。
At this rate, she's going to... Those were Karisu's words. Personality and memory were two different things. Just because she had Karisu's memories, that didn't mean she had Karisu's personality. But...
お願い。
Oh, that's trippy as all fuck. Please, Okabe,
私を消して。
erase me. Those were definitely Karisu's words. At least, that's how it seemed to me. I remembered what she said before. She told me to save Mayuri. She told me she couldn't sacrifice Mayuri to save herself. Maybe there was a tiny chance that Karisu's memories would safely settle inside Kagari's mind. But even if they did, I knew what she'd chosen. She'd chosen to leave. She'd chosen to disappear. I had no way of knowing if the words coming out of Kagari's mouth were from another personality created by Karisu's memories. But there was no doubt that they were Karisu's words. Right now, she was nothing but a formless thing called memories. So why, even now when she was nothing but memories, did she still have to suffer so much? It's an intriguing concept, this, where if you've got the latent memories, it's almost as if it's saying it started to form a personality, because otherwise it wouldn't really know suffering, would it? If it's known suffering as a memory, it'd remember the suffering from that side of it, but it wouldn't know continuous suffering. So it's an interesting dilemma here, but it also suggests there might be a choice which involves do you erase or do you not, if you know what I mean. Why did she have to suffer at all?
ごめんね、岡部。
I'm sorry, Okabe. Clear drops fell from her softly closed eyes.
誰まだか
Daru! Did you find it yet? Karisu! I asked him to stop myself from screaming her name.
待って、もうすぐもうすぐ。
Hang on! Just a little more! Just a little more!
まずいよ、おじさん。
This isn't good, Uncle! Suza whispered to me as she looked out the window.
2、3、何人か集まってきてる。ストラト4だ。
1, 2, 3. There's a bunch of them outside. It's Stratfor!
誰
Daru!
よし、来い来い来い。
Okay, come on! Come on! Come on! The tension was rising with every second. Was he done yet? Why wasn't he done yet?
シュー
Got it!
誰
Daru!
シューシューシュー来た来た来たビンゴ
Alrighty, I got it! Bingo! Lukaku and the others brought the treatment device over, but I motioned for them to stay back as I looked down at the monitor. Maho leaned over Daru's other shoulder. Groan, John, Junk. Ah, is that John as in John Titor?
重要そうなファイルの中からサイズの大きなものを選んで。
Look at the files that seem important and pick the biggest one.
待ってよ、大きなのずっと。もしかしてこれかな
Wait, the big one? Could it be this one?
でもファイルネーム、ジョンって。
But the file name is John.
モーツァルトの洗礼名はヨハネ。きっとそれだわ。
That was Mozart's Christian name. That has to be it.
なんかよくわからんけど OK。てか中にもファイルがいっぱいあるんですけど。
I don't get it, but okay. There were a lot of files inside it, though.
見せて。
Let me see. Inside the folder were several files labeled with codes. And you can see we've got K6011, K6041, K6205. They're not in any actual sequence either, because you've got 6209, 6211, 6212, 6214, so there are some missing. Because we've got 6210 is not on the section there, 6213. So they're all out of sequence, because then you've got 6206, 6207. So they're not neatly organised, which I'm guessing is designed to confuse anyone who gets into it.
ファイルが増えてる。私たちの研究段階じゃこんなに多くなかった。
There's more files! There weren't this many when we were doing the research. Interesting, Avian. You pointed out Kilo 6205. Is that... Actually, yes, that number was referenced, wasn't it? Kilo 625. That was used earlier in the story, you're right. Which meant that after the Amadeus program was shut down, it had ended up in Stratford's hands somehow. And they'd gone on to do more experiments with it.
この中のどれかがカガリさんの記憶データのはずだけど。
One of these has to be Kagari's memory data, but...
K6205 だ
K6205. Huh?
K6205 番がカガリの記憶だ誰
K6205 is Kagari's memories, Daru. Cushell number 620. The magic flute.
K62 あった、これだ。
K6... Ah, found it!
後の手はずは事前に話した通りに頼む。
Now just do it like we talked about! Compared to Karisu's time leap machine, the process was a lot simpler. Since the memory data already existed, there was no need for a VR headset. Or the phone wave. All we had to do was use the decoder program on Kaguri's memory data, then use CERN's LHC to compress it. Then we transferred the compressed data and sent it to the cell phone.
完全に囲まれた。
Harry, we're completely surrounded!
誰、準備はいいか。
Daru, are you ready?
オールオッケー。
Okie dokie.
よし、行くぞ。
Okay, do it!
待って。
Wait! I looked up and saw that Maho was staring at the screen. Her features frozen in an iron mask.
どうした、ヒアジョさん。
What's wrong, Hyajo?
本当にうまくいくのかしら。もし失敗したら、かがりさんは。
Is this really going to work? If it fails, Kagari will... I reached my arm behind Daru's back and put my hand firmly on her shoulder.
大丈夫だ。俺が保証する。
It'll be fine. I guarantee it.
岡部さん。
Okabe.
おじさん。
Uncle!
かがり。
Kagari! I stepped back from the PC and knelt down in front of the sofa where Kagari lay.
岡部さん。
Okabe.
いいな。
Ready. Goodbye. Yeah. Kurisu.
来た。
Okay, this has got a climactic scene on it, so I'm going to go to this new data at the bottom here. I'm going to make its own data for it. They're here! Daru!
了解。
Roger! The sound of footsteps coming up the stairs. The sound of the phone ringing. Here we go! The phone I pressed against Kaguri's head stopped ringing, and in that moment, the world changed. Here we go. Hang on, it's not showing us the numbers. I was inside a deep darkness. There was no sound, no temperature, just darkness, cold and silence. No one was here. I didn't even know if I was asleep or awake. Have we fallen into nowhere and no one? Do you remember that dream in the original Steins Gate where it seemed like he was floating between worlds? Is that where we are? There was nothing but a vague sense of presence. Nothingness. Nothingness spreading out to infinity. Huh? What was I doing? Wasn't I...
ちょっと岡部、いつまでもそんなところで寝てると風邪ひくわよ。
Hey, Okabe, if you keep lying there, you'll catch a cold. That's the voice of Makisei. Huh? I turned towards the voice. Standing there, next to the open curtains of the development room was...
何よ。
What?
なんだ、クリス、いたのか。
Oh, there you are, Kurisu. Promised Renashmento. We've opened a new
なん
chapter.
かとはずいぶんご挨拶だな。さっきからずっとここにいたじゃない。
Okay, we've gone into a new timeline on a new chapter. Interesting. What do you mean, there you are? I've been here the whole time.
そうだったか。
Have you?
そうよ。昨日も一昨日もずっとここにいたわよ。
Yep. Yesterday and the day before. I've been here a long time. Right, I can't access... I'm sorry, I got my cables tangled. Can't access my phone. So I can't access the phone. However, She's got the lab coat on. There's a mention of a GTX down there. All the old machines, and it looks like, to me, there's a time code there. So have we gone back literally in time? It did seem that way, come to think of it. My head seemed like it was full of fuzz, but I wasn't sleepy, or tired, or anything like that. My mind was very awake. But something was missing. Something important.
そういえばダルやマユリはどうした？
Hey, where are Daru and Miyuri?
あんた本当に大丈夫？何か不具合でもあったんじゃない？
Are you really okay? Did something happen to you?
どういう意味だ？
What do you mean?
橋田もまゆりもほらそこにいるじゃない。
Hashida and Miyuri are right there. Look.
え？
Huh?
オカリン、てってれ
Akarin! Tittere!
僕のこの大きすぎる存在感を見落としてるなんてどうかしてるぜオカリン。
How could you miss somebody as big as me, Okarin? Oh, that's right. Daru and Miyuri were always here, weren't they? No, it wasn't just them.
今日な、元気がないにゃ。
It's like the
生理性
world.
萌え萌えチャームで元気を取り戻すんだにゃ。
They seem to be flashing into time, don't they? It's like they're suddenly appearing. Is he saying that he's like somehow become like a time conduit or even a god where he's just wishing people into existence? That's what the art style seems to be suggesting, but that seems like a very left-turn direction for the story.
Kyoma, you doing okay, nya? I'll use my kitty charms to make you feel better, nya?
京馬さん、僕にできることがあったら何でも言ってくださいね。
Kyoma, if there's anything I can do to make you feel better, just tell me. And of course they're calling him Kyoma, so he's not retired the Hoenn Kyoma personality here either. Faris and Likaku too. And... Yep, Moeka and Suzuha.
その辺の食べられそうな草で私が特別ジュース作ってあげるよ。
I'll make you a special juice from the edible grasses I found in this area, Okabe Rintaro. I don't want to say it, but this has a major similarity to another game I've played in its final chapter, which kind of had a similar thing happen. And the protagonist wonder if it was real or not for a moment and have to make a change. I'm being as deliberately vague as possible, but I get the feeling you might both realise which one I'm talking about.
私もいるよ、岡部くん。
I'm here too, Okabe. Suzuha and Moeka. All of the lab members are in the lab, like they always were. That's right. This was my daily life. This was how I spent every day.
ふむ。全員いるようだな。
It appears everyone has arrived.
では、ただいまより第65,536回目の円卓会議を行う。お前たち準備はいいか？
Therefore, we shall now begin the 65,536th round table. Are you ready?
まったくいつも暑苦しいわね。
You're always so loud.
お前こそいい加減そのおすましフェイスはやめるんだな、常習。
And you need to wipe that self-satisfied expression right off your face, assistant.
だから私はあんたの助手になった覚えはないと言ったろうが。
I keep telling you, I'm not your assistant.
オカリンとクリスちゃんはいつも仲良しだね。
Okabe and Karisu are always such good friends.
イチャイチャしやがってリア充爆発しろ。
You're the perfect couple. Now go explode. I'm sorry, I can't take that serious. Come on. Bruh, Daru, of all the ways to put it, come on.
ちょっと橋田、 私がいつこいつとイチャイチャしたって言うのよ。
Wait, Hashida. I am not in a relationship with this guy.
仲がいいほど喧嘩するって言うにゃ。
They say the closer you are, the more you fight, Nya.
羨ましいです。
I'm jealous.
Yeah, this is definitely Cloud Cuckoo Land. It's the Cloud Cuckoo Land ending.
漆原ルカも一緒にイチャイチャすればいいじゃん。
Oh my god. Best girl, why? Why have you become Daru? Give me the badass soldier Suzuha back. I'm not even reading that line out. The implication is way too heavy. Drink it in, people. Imply your own solution.
ダメです。僕にはそんなことできません。
What? I couldn't. I just couldn't.
イチャイチャ。
Fun.
ねえお前たち、いつまで無駄話をしている。さっさと会議を始めるぞ。
Stop wasting time, guys. We're starting the meeting.
ね。今日の議題は何なんだ？
So, what are we talking about today?
そんなものは決まっている。今日の議題は
What else? Our topic for today is...
What?
議題は
Our topic!
岡部？
Okabe.
Something was wrong.
オカリン？
Ocarine?
Everything seemed the same, but...
どうしたんオカリン。
What's wrong, Ocarine? That's right. Have you noticed how it's slowly getting grayscale? And it's slowly darkening as the text is going on. That's right. It was cold.
京馬？
Kyoma?
I didn't feel it.
京馬さん。
Kyoma.
No emotions.
岡部倫太郎？
Okabe Rintaro.
No warmth.
岡部くん。
Okabe.
Everyone was here. But it was cold and dark. Cold. Cold.
岡部くん。
Cold. Cold. Cold, cold, cold. Cold, cold. Cold. Cold, cold. Cold, 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 cold. Cold. Cold.
岡部倫太郎。
It was so cold I felt like the marrow of my bones was going to freeze. And yet you're hearing people calling his name, but the question is, who is it?
京馬さん。
Yeah, it's all the names of the group, isn't it? Because that was Lukako's voice then. Like my bones were made of ice. Like all the blood in my body had been replaced with mercury.
オカリン。
It was cold. It felt like I was going to freeze at any moment. What was this?
オカリン？
Where was this place? Where was I?
岡部。
I... Is it 1.05821? Isn't that the war timeline? 1.05821. Because it makes sense with the strip lights. Where was I? What was I doing? I tried to speak, but the words didn't come out. It looked like I was lying on a bed, and a very hard one at that. I slowly looked around. It wasn't the lab, and it wasn't my room. The room was old and gloomy. Of course, I'd never seen it before. What was I doing here? There was a terrible pain in my head, like someone had jammed an electrode into my brain. Reading that after the comedic banter with Makise doesn't read the same, does it? I tried to raise my hand as I lay there, but it was too heavy. And we literally got no clues. Even taking away the text box, we've got just a ceiling. They're keeping the room completely out of bounds, the developers. They want this to be a surprise. I'm guessing that he's in the care of the US military in the wartime line at this point. And what he was experiencing was the cross between the Event Horizon. It was like all the joints in my body had frozen. We've already had that description. Why are you saying that again? I'll leave them as they are. I don't need to translate them. Let's get a quick swig of water. What's that? Trying to avoid doing it into the mic. It took all my strength to slowly sit up. Each time I moved a little, my muscles screamed and pain ran through my whole body. After several minutes, I finally succeeded in sitting on the edge of the bed and looking down. I realized I was wearing a white gown, like hospital patients wear. There was some kind of equipment on my head, and the cables coming out of it were connected to a strange machine. What had happened to me? Just a moment ago, I was... That's right. Kagari. Carice's memories have been downloaded into Kagari's head. We tried to erase them by overriding them with Kagari's own memories. And then... That's right. I remembered now. The world line had shifted right after that. What had happened then? I tried to remember, but it was like my mind was filled with fog. For now, I needed to figure out where I was. I took off the head here and got out of bed. And he's fallen straight on his arse because that suggests he's been in some kind of induced coma and his body has muscle atrophied. He's lost loads of strength in his body. They say if you're in hospital and you're bedridden for like 3 weeks, you lose around about 2 to 3 years of muscle. Your body literally doesn't, because it doesn't need to move. So it stores all its energy away from the muscle point, and actually recovering to walk is very, very difficult. I might have got my sums wrong, but the point is, the longer you stay laid up, the less mobile you're going to be. And collapsed. This didn't make sense. Was I just dizzy after all that was going on in my head? I tried to stand up again. And I couldn't get any strength in my legs. I kept standing up and falling over. And in the end, I was only able to get up by grabbing the side of my bed. In fact, call back to a previous stream, but at one point we were discussing Kill Bill. If you remember in Kill Bill, the point where the bride wakes up in hospital, she ends up having to get herself in a wheelchair and spends hours literally making her body remember how to function. It's probably a bit over-dramatised, that, but that's to give you an idea of what I'm getting at in terms of the lack of movement he appears to have. Using science, that's what it suggests, but it might be something else. How could standing on my own 2 feet be so exhausting? Was I sick with some terrible disease? And then maybe I'd been in bed for several days. There is a door, and it sounds like he's crawling towards it here. I somehow managed to drag my weak legs to the door. It was bizarrely heavy. Or maybe it just seemed that way to me. Yeah, it's just like a dark corridor, there's nothing here. It only opened after I put my full weight on it. The door was locked, but it seemed to be the kind that could be opened from the inside. I walked down the dark coral hallway, leaning up against the wall for support. At the end of the hall was stairs. I clung to the railing and slowly walked up them. At the end of the stairs I found a hatch. Using the full strength of my back, I was just barely able to get it open. I was inside an old building. I walked down the crumbling hallway, still clueless as to what was going on, and finally found the door to the outside. Are we about to see the destroyed world? Is that what we're about to see? And, oh dear, Evan, yes, I find it exhausting to stand. I actually can stand all day, strangely enough. I do it at work. I have a standing desk when I'm in the office. Exhausted, I staggered outside, and I saw... Yep, it's the destroyed world. Mountains of shattered rubble. What the fuck? Yes, I'm not censoring it, people. Rows of abandoned, destroyed buildings. And do I see what looks like the remnants of a time machine crashed into the building there? Exposed twisted steel girders. At first I thought it was a movie set. But it was all far too realistic for that. The walls, the windows, the ceilings, everything was destroyed. Little bits of rubble covered the ground. There were cracks in the asphalt on the road, making it impossible to walk straight. And it wasn't just directly in front of me. I spun around a full 360 degrees and saw the same scene everywhere. I smelled oil. I smelled something burning. I looked up to the sky. It was dark and gloomy. I thought it might just be cloudy, but something else seemed to be going on. I could see the hazy outline of the sun beyond the black curtain that covered the sky. So he's awakened post-World War. We are in what appears to be the future somewhere, but the question is what date? Because it seems to be that World War III started in the July period, wasn't it? So we've moved forward, but how far forward? Oh, hang on, wait, it's blacked out. A violent pain in my throat made me cough. I quickly covered my mouth with the sleeve of my gown. My eyes stung. I tried once more to calm down and see if I could remember what happened, but I had no luck. All I knew for sure was that there had been a world line shift when I deleted Kurisu's memories from inside Kagari. The memories held by the Amadeus Kurisu. And the memories implanted into Kagari. Maybe when whoever owned them changed, that is, whoever held Kurisu's time machine theory, the world line changed with it. And this was another altered world line, which meant what I was seeing was... I saw what looked like an ash-covered stick pointing out at the ground in the corner of my eye. I slowly went to take a closer look, and you found a bone, I'm guessing. It was sticking out of the rubble, and at the tip it split into 5 smaller branches. Here! It was a hand. It was a human hand that had been scorched pitch black. A terrible feeling came rising out of my stomach. Yeah. Suddenly, I thought I saw something move. Someone was there. Where? I listened carefully to try and pick them out. I'm loving the tolling bell in the background here. Right, well, there's no one in the screen that I can see there. There's no silhouette or anything, so there's no clues as yet. The other side of that big building. I could hear some kind of sound from over there. Was someone there? If there was, maybe they could tell me what the hell was going on. Trying my best not to make any sound, I peeked through the walls of the crumbling building. They were there, alright. There were people there. Lots of them. But they weren't people anymore. They were just human-shaped wads of meat, piled up into a mountain. And on top of the mountain was a pack of dogs. Something long and slick was hanging out of the dogs' mouths. Intestines. They were eating them. They were eating the bodies. The stench was horrible. The sound of the flies was overwhelming. It was like something out of hell. I don't need to translate that, that's done brilliantly. My gaze met the vacant eyes of one of the bodies. Oh, as he found like Miyuri or someone like that, or Lukaku. One of its eyes fell out, and black insects crawled out of the empty socket. Ooh. Yeah, there's a grim image, people. Don't have nightmares. Do sleep well. Yeah, I'm not trying to replicate that. I ran away. I ran as far as I could, stumbling on flailing legs. Somewhere. Was there somewhere around here that was sane? But no matter how far I went, it was the same thing. Mountains of rubble. Rows of abandoned buildings. All I could see were the dead. There were no living humans. Yet that's the center of Akihabara. So we can see the former rail bridge connecting Kanda and Akihabara. And this was where, on this side, is the former arcade building. So he's still in Akihabara, but it's apocalyptic. I love the cracks in the highway and the way it's all flushed up with the dust blowing over it. Basically, I've unlocked the apocalypse ending. Somehow Okabe caused the apocalypse. There were rows of huge buildings, which all looked as if they were about to fall over. The roads were full of cracks. There was a warped overpass sticking out of the ground. A few rows of iron and railroad ties. I knew it. I knew this place. It was only a shadow of its former self, but I knew it. This was Akihabara, which meant... What happened to the lab? Yep, I was thinking about that. Go to the lab. And if not the lab, go to UTX. And if not the UTX, go to the building where Maho was working. Check everywhere that's familiar. Where was Miyuri? Where was Daru? Where was Faris? What about Lukaku or Suzuha? What happened to Maho and Kagari? Just as I ran toward the lab to find out, I heard footsteps behind me. Rough footsteps, stomping over the rubble, more than one set. They got louder and louder, and soon I saw them coming towards me from between the crumbling buildings. There were 3 of them. They each had assault rifles in their hands. You! What are you doing there? When they saw me, they all pointed their guns at me. There was so much I wanted to ask them. There were many things I wanted to know. But the only thought that came to me was that I needed to get away. But even as I tried to turn and run, my body refused to listen. Don't move! They must have sensed that I was about to flee, because one of them yelled. Holes appeared in the concrete at my feet. Oh shit, okay. They'd shot at me. They really shot at me. They'd shot at me with real guns. If I'd been just a little closer, they would have hit me. I was too scared to stand. The men got closer, still holding the guns. Run. You have to run. But it was like my body belonged to someone else. It wasn't listening to me. The men kept getting closer. And then... there was another sharp noise. One of the men collapsed to the side. He hit his head on the rubble and stopped moving. The other 2 men waved their guns around, clearly confused as to what just happened. You're in the way! Something dragged me to the ground. And then more gunshots. The 2 of them fell backwards, still holding their weapons at almost the exact same time. I'm guessing that's Suzuha, judging by the voice. They died. Right in front of me. Someone had died. I could do nothing more than sit there and watch as a silhouette moved in front of me. Are you trying to get killed? I looked up, and the person I saw was... I was right. Badass Suzuhara's back, but do you notice? She's wearing a black armband. That's usually used as a sign of someone who's honouring someone who's passed away. I hope I'm wrong on that, but I get the feeling that that might be what that is. Suzuha.
ほら、いつまでボケっと座っているつもりだ。
Come on, how long are you just going to sit there?
お前殺したのか
Did you kill them?
何を生っちょろいこと言ってるんだ、お前。
What kind of stupid question is that? It was a colder voice than I'd ever heard.
お前鈴葉だよな
You're Suzuha, right? Her iron mask of an expression suddenly changed to surprise. But that was only for a moment. A second later and the fierceness had returned.
お前、何者だ
Who are you? Did she really not?
俺のこと知らないのか
You don't know who I am? Did the change in the world line mean that Suzuha and I had never met?
岡部だよ岡部倫太郎だ
It's me, Okabe. Okabe Ritsuro. The expression on her face changed again.
岡部倫太郎そんなバカな
Yeah, I think he's beyond his date. Somehow he's back when he's not supposed to be here. That's what it's suggesting at. Okabe Ritsuro? That's impossible! Two pairs of icy footsteps sounded in the
こっ
darkness.
ちだ
This way! After I'd given my name, Suzuha had stared at me suspiciously for a moment. Then she'd made some kind of call and told me to come with her. She made me wear a blindfold almost the entire time though. So I had no idea which way I'd gone or where I was.
止まれ
Stop! I did as she said. When I heard the knock, I finally realized we were in front of a door. Moe moe for you!
バッキュンキュン
Bakyunkin! So that's Dara's voice. Come in. Evidently that was the password. I can only think of one man who'd choose such a stupid password. I heard the sound of a heavily locked door opening, and at last I saw a dimly lit room in the darkness. Oh wow! Yeah, this is definitely the future then, because you see, the time machine's completed. We've got the new War Council with multiple computers, the floodlights. Somehow Okabe is beyond 2025, or at least that's what it's suggesting. Wow. And I know, where's David? Just seen your message about dinner time. I'm guessing that means you dropped off. Well, if you're checking the archive stream, sorry I missed your message. Rows of instruments lined the walls. A man was sitting in front of them, looking straight at me.
よかったやっと目を覚ましたんだなオカリン
I'm so glad! You're finally awake, Ocarine! Now, is it just me? Or are those shoulders less broad? Are we in the timeline where he'd started weight training and pulled it off? Who was this guy? How did he know my name? He must have been in his mid-40s. He was a big, broad-shouldered man with a stubbly face. There was a sharp but gentle light in his eyes. I felt like I'd seen him somewhere before.
あなたは
Who are you?
やだな僕のこと忘れたんそりゃいくらなんでも冷たいぜオカリン
Ah, jeez. Did you forget about me? Even after all that's happened, that still hurts, Ocarine. The way he talked. And that voice. There was only one person it could be. But that was...
まさか誰か
Are you... Daru? The man's face broke into a broad smile.
よかった覚えててくれててっきり忘れられたのかと思ったのだぜ
Good, you did remember. I thought you'd forgotten. And indeed, he does look a lot fitter, doesn't he? He's got a really thick neck, though, which suggests that he is basically very well built. Because I've got quite a long neck, as you can see, but I don't have the muscle out to the side. But what's interesting is he's not got muscle in the forearms, so there's something there that's not quite right. It probably could just be the artist, though. And as you say, still wearing the save point hat. Daru, is it really you?
こんなナイスガイ僕以外にいるわけないじゃんな鈴葉
Who else do you know is as handsome as me? Right, Suzuha?
せめてもうちょっと痩せてくれれば認めなくもないけど
I might admit that if you lost a little weight.
そう言うなってこれでも若い頃に比べれば随分と痩せたんだぜ
Don't say that. I've lost a lot since I was younger. Indeed. The Daru in front of me was quite a bit slimmer than the Daru I knew.
というか父さん少し言葉遣いおかしくない
And wait, Dad! Why are you talking so funny?
僕も久々にこういう話し方したよでもオカリンはこの方が話しやすいだろうと思ってさ
I don't usually talk like this, but I figured it would make things much easier for Ocarine. The more pressing issue, though, was his age. He was clearly a middle-aged man. The youngest I could possibly imagine to be was in his early 40s. And then I saw a shelf in the corner. Interesting comment from Iris. Apparently 65536 is the maximum possible value for an unassigned double byte integer. So it literally was the final meeting. I saw a man I didn't know reflected in its glass. It was another man like him, in his 40s. He was staring at me with a gloomy, sunken face. I slowly raised my right hand, and the man raised his left as if copying me.
Daru 一つ教えてくれ
Daru, tell me something.
何でもどうぞ
Anything you want, man.
今は何年だ
What year is it? Daru's smile quickly became something more serious as he answered me.
2036年世界は戦乱の真っ只中だ
Yep, he's broken his fate. He's 11 years past his time. I was right. It's 2036. The world is at war. Daru gave me all the details.
それじゃあ本当に今は2036年なのか
Then this really is the year 2046.
そういうこと
That's right. It seemed unbelievable. But Daru's appearance, and more than anything, my own, made it undeniable. 2036. Suzuha said that World War III would start sometime in the next 10 years. 5.7 billion people would die, and the population of Tokyo would drop to a tenth of what it once was. After that, the Third World War itself would end, but the chaos would continue, and even in Japan, no, everywhere around the world, battles would continue. Was that what I'd just seen?
だがどうして俺はそのことを何も覚えていないんだ
But why don't I remember any of this? All my memories were 2011. I had no memories of the past 25 years. My last memory was of erasing Kurisu's memories from Kagari's head.
それに俺は2025年に死ぬと鈴葉から聞かされていたどうして生きているんだ
And Suzuha told me I would die in 2025. Why am I alive?
それは私も聞きたい父さん
I want to know that too, Dad. Suzuha chimed in.
私たちはみんなオカリンおじさんは10年前に死んだって聞かされてきたんだ
We were all told that Uncle Ocarine died 10 years ago. Suzuha leaned over him.
父さんこれはどういうこともしかして私たちを騙してたのか
What's going on here, Dad? Did you lie to all of us?
落ち着け鈴葉ちゃんと説明するから
Calm down, Suzuha. I'll explain. Daru looked at me as if he was remembering old times, then resumed his explanation.
オカリンは2011年の1月半ばまでの記憶しかないってことで OK?
Ocarine, you said you've only got memories up to halfway through January 2011, right? When did he say that? I don't remember him saying that, Daru. Continue explaining.
2011年の1月に世界線が変動した。それ以降のことは覚えていない。
Yeah. The world line changed in January 2011. That's all I remember. I'd gotten 25 years older without realizing it. That fact was starting to eat away at me.
やっぱ体の方に少し問題があるのか、それとも混乱してるのか。
Maybe there's some problem with your body, or maybe just confused.
今のオカリンの頭の中には2011年の1月末までの記憶がなきゃいけないんだけど。
You should have memories up to the end of January 2011.
末？どうして1月末なんだ？
The end? Why the end of the month?
マホタンがオカリンの記憶をデータとして保存したのが2011年1月末のことだからさ。
Ah, so his data's been transferred into a new body of some kind. Have they literally grown another Okabe? Is that what they've done? That'd be an interesting twist. It was the end of the month when Mahotan saved your memory data. He had just saved my memories.
アマデウスの研究の役に立ちたいから記憶サンプルを取ってくれってオカリンからマホタンに頼んだらしいじゃん。
I guess you told Mahotan to take memory samples from you to help with the Amadeus research, right?
俺がアマデウスの
I volunteered for Amadeus. And then I realized something incredible.
ということはもしかして今の俺の脳の中は
Which means that inside my brain,
そう、お察しの通り今のオカリンの脳内にある記憶はその時の2011年にデータ化された記憶なんだ。
Yep, just like you guessed. Your memories are the ones that were digitized in 2011. Digitized memories. Inside my
ちょ
head.
っと待って父さん、話が全く見えない。そもそもどうしてオカリンおじさんが生きてるの？
Wait, Dad, I don't understand. What's going on? How is Uncle Ocarine alive anyway? And it does seem a reflection of that, Queen. Yeah, basically the Leskinen wanted to do the same thing in the other world line, but they've succeeded for their own means in this one. That's an interesting callback.
おじさんは2025年に死んだって言ってただろ？
You tell me he died in 2025, right?
死んだよ。事実上はね。
He did. For all intents and purposes anyway.
事実上？
For all intents and purposes?
タイムマシン開発競争はその頃がピークだったんだ。
That was when the race to make the time machine was at its peak.
各国のいろんな機関がマキセ・クリスが残した論文と彼女の記憶を欲していた。
Everybody in the world wanted the paper that Makise Carissa had written and her memories.
でもその時点でマキセ・クリスの遺産は全部ストラト4の手に渡ってたんだよね。
But at the time, Stratfor had everything that she'd left behind. Stratfor.
ただ連中をもってしても論文の中身を確かめることはどうしてもできなかった。ロックを解除できなかったんでね。
But even if they had it, they couldn't read it. They couldn't break the lock, you see.
ちなみにそのロックを開発したのは2010年の僕。
By the way, I was the one who built that lock in 2010.
そこでストラト4はマキセ・クリスをよく知る人物を捕まえて情報を聞き出そうとしたんだ。
So they decided to capture someone who knew her well and get information from them.
それが俺か。
And that was me.
連中はオカリンの記憶からマキセ・クリスについての情報を取り出すためにあらゆる手を使ったらしい。
They did everything they could to try and get information about Makise Carissa out of you.
僕たちが助け出した時にはオカリンの精神はボロボロだった。まともに生きるための能力さえ失ってた。
When we rescued you, your mind was shattered. You'd lost the ability to ever survive on your own.
回復する見込みのない死んだのとほぼ変わらない状態だったんだ。
You were as good as dead. and there was no chance you'd get better.
それじゃあ肉体は生きていたってこと？
Then his body was alive?
そういうこと。
That's right.
これはオカリン自身の入れ知恵でもあった。オカリンは自分が狙われてることに危機感を覚えてたからね。
Okabe himself had given me the idea. He was starting to get worried about how they were after him.
でもせめて私にくらいは教えてくれてもよかったはずだ。
You could have at least told me, alright?
敵を騙すにはまず味方からって言うだろ。
You know what they say, right? To deceive your foes, first deceive your friends. So, once again, the bullshitter himself, Daru. Well played, sir. Made it clear that he was apparently dead and pronounced dead somehow. How they convinced the world that Okabe was dead is anyone's guess.
そんな。
But
Suzuha seemed a little depressed. It must have come as a shock that her dad didn't trust her.
そんな顔するな、鈴葉。このことを知ってたのはワルキューレの中でもごく限られた一部の人間だけだ。
Don't be like that, Suzuha. Only very few people in Valkyrie knew about this. I knew the name Valkyrie. Suzuha talked about it a lot in 2010. It was the name of Daru and Suzuha's resistance organization. Yep, so here we go. Basically an armed group of regular fighters who oppose the government, all members of that group. The difference between resistance and fighter and the terrorist is a very slim one. Not necessarily true. I'm out of save slots. I don't know which one to use. Okay. I'm gonna use this one. I'm gambling.
話を続けよう。
Let's move on.
オカリンは心を破壊されたせいで生きるための能力を失っていた。放っておいたら肉体さえ死んでしまう状態だった。
Okabe's mind was shattered and he was incapable of surviving. If we didn't do something, even his body would have died.
そこで事実を知る一部の人間の手によってこことは別の施設でずっと面倒を見てきたんだ。
So a few people who knew the truth have been watching over him for years in another facility. From 2025 to 2036. 11 years without letting anyone find out. You needed nutrients to keep your body alive. And since I was in bed the whole time, my joints would have gone stiff, and friction against the bed would have caused my skin to split open. Yep, I was right. Muscle atrophy. Someone had watched over me the whole time to keep that from happening.
もしかして
Mayuri, I'm guessing.
マユリが
Was it Mayuri?
マユシだけじゃない。フェイリスタンやルカシ、それにマホタンもだ。
Not just Mayashi. Ferris-tan and Lukashi, and Marutan too. They were alive. Mayuri, Faris, and Lukaku. Even in this terrifying world, they were still alive, and still looking after me. They had been for years.
なあ、誰？
Hey, Daru.
どうして俺は今になって目を覚ましたんだろうか。
Why did I wake up now? My memories have been digitized in 2011. If they'd known those memories existed, they could have downloaded them into me a lot earlier, right?
それは単純な話さ。オカリンの記憶データはつい最近までどこにあるかわからなかったんだよね。
That's easy to explain. Until just a little while ago, we didn't know where they were.
つうか、オカリンとマキセ・クリスの記憶データはストラト4がずっと保管してたんだけど。
Actually, Stratfor had been holding on to your and Crease's memory data the entire time.
その保管場所がずっとわからなかったわけ。
We just didn't know where it was.
見つけたのは半月前。どこにあったと思う？驚くぜ。
I found it 2 weeks ago. Wanna guess where it was? It'll shock you. On his old computer in the lab maybe, or on the IBM 5100 in CERN or something.
どこだ？
Where?
東大元暮らし。大学だよ、僕たちの。
Oh, it was the college. Right next to us the whole time. It was at our college.
まさか東京電機大学か？
No way. Tokyo Denki?
その地下に連中の支部があったんだよ。つっても 今はほとんど廃墟になってるけどな。
They had a base in the basement. Not as much of anything left there now. In terms of the chapter, I'll just do a quick save. We should be still in Promised Rena Shanto. Yeah, we are. We're still in Promised Rena Shanto. You can see the timestamp, 2145. Stratford had a base in the basement of Tokyo Denki.
で、半月前にオカリンの記憶データをサルベージした僕たちは、早速脳にデータをダウンロードした。
So 2 weeks ago, we managed to salvage your memory data and download it into your brain. But for the next 10 days, I hadn't woken up. And just as they were about to give up, I'd finally awoken. After 25 years. 25 years. I stared at my hands. They were so thin I could almost see the bone, and I could see veins popping out of them. The face reflected in the glass was unhealthy and wrinkled. My hair was starting to turn white too. Indeed, they have Avian. They got Kurisu's memories, yes, but it looks like they managed to bring them back. So the question is, what are they going to use them for? That's the key.
起きたら25年後だったなんて。とんだ浦島太郎だな。
So I woke up after 25 years. I'm just like Urashima Taro.
気持ちの整理がつかないのも無理ないさ。
I can understand it'll take you a while to process it. Of course, it was a shock. But the most shocking thing was...
記憶は一度データになったものなんだな。
These memories were once data, huh? My memories since I was a kid. My memories of that summer. My memories with Kurisu. All of them had been transformed into zeros and ones. Could you still say that I was a person? Could I still be called human?
でもそれを言うなら、マキセ氏のタイムリープマシン技術だって同じじゃん。
But it's the same as Makiseshi's time leap technology, right?
オカリンはあれ、何度も経験したはずっしょ。
You went through that a bunch of times, didn't you? He was right. But even if I knew it in my head, it still felt strange. I'd been cut off from 25 years of time. It had all been forgotten and left behind in a digital world. It felt like it had been stolen from me.
私はやっぱり納得いかない。
I still can't accept this.
そう言うなって鈴葉。
Don't say that, Suzuha.
父さんはいい。そうやって世界中を騙していたんだから。
You're lucky, Dad. You managed to deceive the whole world that way.
だから仕方なかったんだってば。
I didn't have a choice. Deceived, huh? I'd been deceived too. I'd been told I was fated to die in 2025. And even in the beta world line, that wouldn't change. But no matter how it had happened, I was alive right now. Even in the past, I'd been deceived by the future. And it wasn't just me. Suzuha and everyone else. The whole world had been deceived.
世界が騙される。
The world was deceived. And then there was a knock on the outside of the door. There was a visitor, it seemed. Suzuha got close to the
君
door.
に萌え萌え。
Moe moe for you. Bakyun-kyun! After hearing the world's most ridiculous password, Suzuha unlocked the door. It opened and a young girl came in. Young Kagare.
ちゃん、鈴葉お姉ちゃん、トゥットゥルー。
Uncle Daru! Big sis Suzuha! Do-do-do!
かがり、ここには用がある時以外は来るなと言ってるだろう。
Kagari! I told you not to come here unless you had a reason! Kagari? This child was a young Kagari.
ごめんなさい。でも、ママたちみんな出かけて帰ってこないんだもん。
Sorry, but Mommy and everybody else left and they haven't come back.
まあまあ、そう目くじら立てることもないだろう。
Now, don't get so mad.
また父さんはそうやって甘やかす。こういうことはきちんとしておかなきゃダメなんだ。
You're spoiling her again, Dad. You need to be strict at times like this. The way they interacted hadn't changed in 25 years. I ignored them and looked at Kagari. And she seemed to notice me too.
にちは。
Hello.
こんにちは。
Hello.
おじさんは誰？
Who are you, mister?
Use the word OG-san. Normally that's used for uncle. So unless there's a context for it for stranger, that seems very unusual for me. That seems like something's not been quite translated.
俺か俺は
Me. I'm...
そうだな。君のママの友達だ。
I know. I'm a friend of your mother's. I hesitated for a moment but decided not to give her my name.
まゆりママの？
A friend of Mummy Mayuri's?
そうだ。
Yeah, that's right.
へえ。
Huh?
ママは優しいか？
Is your mommy nice?
Yep.
ママのこと好きか？
Do you like her?
大好き。
Yep, I love her.
そうか。
I see. I could see the love she felt for her mother radiating from her face. Mayuri must have raised her with a lot of love too. She'd been raised with everything Mayuri could give her. But after this she was going to go to the past. She would be all alone in the past, separated from her beloved Mayuri. And then they would catch her and use her as a test subject.
そういえば父さん、まゆ姉さんには伝えたのか？おじさんが目覚めたこと。
Hey, Dad, did you tell Big Sis Mayu that Uncle was up?
あ、いかん。すっかり忘れてた。早く教えてやらんと。
Oh, no, I forgot. I need to do that. He took out what looked like a small wireless radio.
バレルタイター。応答せよ。こちら、バレルタイター。
This is Barrel Tighter. Come in, this is Barrel Tighter.
こちら、スターダストシェイクハンドです。どうぞ。
This is Stardust Handshake. Over.
Barrel Tighter I get, but Stardust Handshake? Who uses a call sign like that? The voice I heard from the speaker was definitely Mayuri's. It felt a lot calmer than what I was used to, but it was definitely Mayuri. Wait, what was Stardust Handshake?
Mummy!
かがりちゃん、誰おじさんのところにいるの？
Oh, Kagari, you're with Uncle Daru? Yep.
おじさんは大事なお仕事があるから、あんまり邪魔しちゃダメだよ。
He's busy with something important, so don't bug him too much, okay? Okay.
そんなことよりまゆし、スペシャルなニュースだ。
Anyway, Mayashi, I got special news for you.
スペシャルなニュース？
Special news?
ああ、心して聞いてくれ。オカリンが目覚めた。
Yup, you ready for this? Okari's awake. Yeah, it probably is something to do with that, Avian, you're right, but it's just as a call sign, it sounds silly.
Really? Okari's really?
どうしたの？まゆし。
What's wrong, Mayashi?
オカリンが。
Ocarines?
もしかして岡部さん目を覚ましたんですか？
Did Okabe wake up?
オカリン、起きてるにゃ。
Really? Ocarines awake, Nya?
I heard one voice I knew after another coming from the radio. The voices didn't seem to have changed all that much.
そういうわけで3人ともすぐに戻ってきた方がいい。
So I want you three to come back right now.
まゆし、どうしたまゆし。
Mayashi, what's wrong, Mayashi?
ダメ。まゆしは嬉しさのあまり涙ぐんで声も出ないみたい。
It's not good. She's trying too much to talk.
And yeah, I suppose that's true actually. It's a reference to Okabe. I forgot about that actually, Queen. I'd forgotten that he gave it that name, the Stardust Handshake. I don't know why I forgot. Oh well.
まあ、無理もないよな。オカリンの復活を一番望んでたのはマユシなんだからさ。
Well, I can see why. She wanted Ocarine back more than anyone. Miyuri.
とにかくみんな早く戻った方がいい。
Anyway, you should get back here as soon as possible.
分かった。食料受け取ったらすぐに戻るわ。
Got it. We'll come back as soon as we get provisions.
I'm not surprised you're still using the Nya. It's a whole thing, isn't it? Everyone else is overjoyed. But I saw that Suzuha's expression was clouded.
どうした鈴葉。
What's wrong, Suzuha?
なんでまゆ姉さんたち食料調達に出ている？今日は予定になかったはずだ。
Why are you guys going out to get food? That wasn't planned for today.
え？
Huh?
そんなはずない。確かに今日だって昨日の夜遅くに連絡が。
Sure it was. We got a message last night that it was today.
まずい。それは罠だ。みんなすぐに戻って。
No, it's a trap! Everyone, get back here now!
Yeah!
A scream from the speaker cut her off.
どうした？何があった？
What's wrong? What happened?
襲撃です。敵襲が。
We're under attack! The enemy!
Damn it!
マイルちゃん、リリーさん、逃げて。ここ僕。
Miyuri, Ferris, run! I'll hold them off!
でもそんなことしたらルカニャンが。
But if we do that, Mule...
大丈夫ですか？早く。
I'll be fine. Hurry!
No! Luca! Luca Nyan!
父さん。
Dad! Right! Suzuha started running and Daru followed after. Wait, Daru!
俺も行く。
I'm going too!
でもオカリその体じゃ。
But Ocarine, in your condition!
頼む。
Let me go! Please! He hesitated for a moment, but then quickly nodded and offered me his shoulder. He was a little thinner than when he was young, but his shoulder was still gigantic. I put my weight on it as we followed Suzuha. When we finally got there, I saw several silhouettes. I'd been mentally preparing myself for a fierce battle, but the whole place was dead quiet. There were several men dressed like soldiers lying on the ground nearby. In front of them was Suzuha. Kneeling next to her were two women, and at their feet...
ルカ子。
Lukako! I could tell at a glance. The person lying there was Lukako.
Oh, Karine?
The two women looked up at me.
オカリルカニャンが。ルカニャンが。
Oh, Karine. Luca Nyan. Luca Nyan is...
Miyuri and Faris both seemed beaten down by the passage of time. That's not a scene I'm going to reenact. I'll leave that one as it is. Okabe. His features had grown more gallant, but his face was still soft and feminine. Lukako looked at me with hazy eyes.
ルカ子。
Lukako!
本当に岡部さんなんですか？
Is it really you? Okabe?
ルカ子。俺だ。
Yeah, Lukako, it's me.
その呼び方本物の岡部さん。
You called me Lukako. It really is you. A single trail of blood dripped from Lukako's mouth. Wow, Queen. Queen of the Mood Killer. Queen of the Mood Kill with that one. Now's not the time to be getting picky about something like that. The Lukaku stands are going to kill you. His outfit was stained with blood over his right breast, and the blood dripped over to the ground. I knew immediately that the wound was fatal.
よかった。さっきの話は嘘じゃなかったんですね。
I'm glad what I just heard was true.
お前たちのおかげでこうして目覚めることができた。ありがとう。
Yeah. Thanks to you, I was able to wake up. Thank you. Lukaku's hand reached up towards the sky as if he was looking for something. Maybe he couldn't even see me anymore. When I grabbed his hand, it was very cold. Okabe.
どうした？
What is it?
僕やりました。
I did it. Yeah.
京馬さんに教えてもらった精神ザマ流の心へのおかげで今までまゆりちゃんやみんなを守ってこられました。
Thanks to this ancient summer school you taught me, I was able to protect Miyuri and everyone else. Yeah.
僕仲間になれましたよね。
I'm one of you guys now, right?
皆さんの本当の仲間になれましたよね。
I'm really one of you now, aren't I?
バカ！お前は最初からずっと俺たちの仲間だ。
Idiot! You were always one of us. Lukaku reached out a cold hand and touched my cheek, and smiled a dazzling smile.
嬉しいな。
That makes me happy. That was all he said. And then, the touch on my cheek disappeared.
ルカ子！
Lukaku! Lukaku!
ルカ
Lukaku! The cold hand fell to the rubble-covered ground. Yeah, I'm not doing those lines. I agree with you, Luca. It does sound a bit more male here, and I think obviously with the world that's going round, you have to step up to your surroundings, and it sounds like Lukaku did.
Lukanyan!
I never moved again.
Nanteことだ。
How could this happen?
よかった。ルカ君はオカリンとずっと会いたがっていたから、最後に会えたのは本当によかった。
I'm glad. Lukaku always wanted to see Ocarine. I'm glad he got to see him in the end.
Glad? She was glad? After this? Miyuri's words made me realize how hellish the last 25 years I'd slept through must have been.
漆原ルカ、あなたはとても立派に戦いました。私たちはあなたに救われました。どうか安らかに。
Urishibara Luka, you fought splendidly. You saved us. Please, rest in peace.
This is just... It's not fair! Yeah, that's not a line I'm going to attempt live. I probably wouldn't even attempt it in the studio, let alone live.
まゆしは
Where's Maishi?
泣き疲れて眠ったよ。
She cried herself out and went to sleep.
無理もないよな。まゆしはルカシとずっと仲良かったから。
I can understand that. She and Lukashi were good friends.
ルカ兄さん。
Brother Luka. Lukaku was dead. He died protecting Miyuri and Faris. In my mind, his death overlapped with Mayuri's. Mayuri's hands got colder, and so did Lukaku's. It was the same no matter where I went. Miyuri, Lukaku, and Kurisu. Everyone dies.
あの戦争をきっかけにたくさんの人間が死んだ。
A lot of people died after that war started.
小学校の友達も中学高校の友達も大学の友達も
All our friends from elementary school. All our friends from middle and high school. All our friends from college.
親戚も先生も知り合いも大人も子供もそれから大切な人も
Our relatives, our teachers, people we knew, kids, adults, even people we loved.
たくさんの本当にたくさんの人間が死んだんだ
So many people. So many people died. And Okabe is thinking, it's all my fault. Yeah, this is putting a character through the mangler, people. A huge mangler. I knew this was coming. At least, I thought I knew. If I didn't reach Steins Gate, if I stayed in the Beta World line, the world would eventually burn. I'd heard it 1,000 times. And I thought I knew what the future would be like. But in the end, it was just a story about the distant future. It didn't feel real at all. I could only imagine it. All I had were vague, unrealistic ideas. I mean, yeah, he's literally imagining the empty scene, like if you go out in town at like 4:30 in the morning just before everyone's awake kind of thing. All the thousands of nightmares I'd experienced. I'd thought nothing could be worse than that. But when I saw it with my own eyes, heard it with my own ears, and felt it with my own skin, I realized that everything I'd thought was wrong. Piles of bodies. Wild dogs devouring human corpses. Dead soldiers. The smell of burning flesh. The smell of rotting organs. The warmth of Lukaku's blood in my hands. The warmth of Mayuri's blood. The warmth of Kurisu's blood. I thought that if nothing else, I'd managed to save Miyuri. I'd let Kurisu die, turned my eyes away from reality, and told myself that at least I'd saved Miyuri and the others. But in the end, I hadn't saved anyone. Even if I had, I'd only saved myself. I was the only person I'd managed to save. No one else. Not Kurisu. Not Mayuri. Not Kagari. Not Lukako. I hadn't saved anyone.
クリスをアマデウスの呪縛から解放してやってくれ。
Release Kurisu from the bonds of Amadeus. Huh?
伝言。2025年のオカリンから。
A message from you in the year 2025.
俺の伝言。
A message from myself?
シュタインズゲート世界線への道は険しい。一度や二度やり直したところでたどり着ける道ではないだろう。
The path to Steins Gate is a hard one. Trying again once or twice probably won't get you there.
けれど、まずはそこから始めることがシュタインズゲートへとつながるんじゃないか。
But I think starting there is the best way to get to it.
いくつもの未来の先が過去へとつながっているんじゃないか。
I think that many futures are connected to the past.
11年前、オカリンはそう言ってた。
That's what you said 11 years ago.
クリスを解放。
Release Kurisu.
だからさ、僕たちがいるこの世界も無駄じゃない。きっと必要な世界なんだ。少なくとも、今の僕はそう思ってる。
So this world we're in isn't wasted. It's a world that we need. At least that's what I think.
もちろん、だからってこのままでいいってわけじゃない。
Of course, that doesn't mean I'm okay with things as they are. Daru.
だからさ、オカリン、もう一度戻って考えてみてもいいんじゃね？オカリンの記憶の途切れたその時間に、さ。
So, Ocarine, why not go back to the and think about it? To the moment when your memory's cut off.
2011年にか。でも、そんなこと。
To 2011? But that's not... I could see my aged body in the glass.
第一、この姿のまま戻ったところで、俺に何ができる？
And anyway, even if I did go back, what could I do?
できるわ。
You can do it.
I heard a voice I recognized from the radio.
久しぶりね、岡部さん。11年ぶりかしら。
It's been a while, Okabe. 11 years, I think.
ヒヤジョーさんか。
Hiyajo?
部屋の奥を見なさい。
Look in the back of the room.
As if he'd known what she was going to say, Dara moved to a spot in the back room where the lights didn't reach. Suddenly it got brighter, and I saw her.
電話レンチかっこかり。
The phone wave.
あなたや橋田さんから話を聞いて私が作ったものよ。ほら、ちゃんと VR ヘッドも用意してあるでしょ？
I made this after hearing about it from you and Hashida. See? It's got a VR headset too.
こんなこともあろうかと、リフターも用意してやる。
I've got a lift already too. I thought this might happen. Dara went on to explain that for the last 11 years, he'd maintained an environment where I could receive the time leap, even in a coma. That made sense. Even if I was in a coma, as long as they put the receiver up to my head, it would still function. Miyuri and the others had taken care of my body since 2025. So Dara and Maho had known that this day would come 11 years ago. Or maybe I'd told them so back in 2025.
改良を重ねた結果、跳躍可能時間は336時間。一度の跳躍で1週間は遡ることが可能よ。
Our improvements mean it's now possible to go back in time 336 hours.
336時間。2週間か。
336 hours. 2 weeks?
ただし、それも途中まで マシンを改良してそれが可能になったのは10年ほど前だから、それ以前は前と変わらず48時間しか跳躍できない。
But that will only get you part of the way back. We made the modifications to the machine about 10 years ago. So beyond that, you'll only be able to go 48 hours at a time.
So essentially, what he's looking to do here is repeat what one of the characters did in the original Steins Gate. If you didn't send a message quickly, you got another scene. One of the characters did the same thing. Or at least that's what the narrative's suggesting. In other words, if I wanted to go back to the end of January 2011, I'd need about 3,000 time leaps.
とてつもなく辛い旅になるわ。それでも戻る気があるのなら。
It's going to be a long and painful journey. But if you're still up for it...
Almost 3,000 time leaps. Was I really capable of something like that anymore?
しんどくなったら途中で休めばいい。
If you get tired, you can rest part way. Daru.
大丈夫よ。どの時間にたどり着いても必ず私たちがいるから。
Don't worry. No matter what year it is, we'll always be with you.
野上さん。
Hyajo.
私ね、後悔しているの。
You know, I've got a lot of regrets.
アマデウスのせいで、あの子は死んでもなお多くの横島な人々に利用されようとしていた。
Thanks to Amadeus, even after her death, a lot of people tried to use her for evil.
何年も何十年も。
For years. For
だ
decades.
から私からもお願い。あの子、クリスを醜い欲望の渦から解放してあげて。
So I want your help too. Release her. Release Karisu from that ugly spiral of greed.
クリスを救ってあげて。それができるのは岡部さん、あなただけよ。
Save Karisu. You're the only one who can.
I didn't know if I could do it anymore. There was no guarantee that the path I was about to travel would ever lead to Steins Gate. But even so,
もう一度考えるか。
maybe I should think it over again. What could I do? What should I do?
二人とも頼む。
Alright, guys, I'm in.
オキドキ。
Okie dokie! As soon as the words were out of his mouth, he started getting ready.
さん、
Okabe.
Message from Iris. Apparently Aji-san's also used some middle-aged man you don't know. It's not something that I've been taught in my classes. I can see it. It kind of makes sense. I suppose you'd have to be wary of who you're using it around in case you inadvertently call someone a grandparent or an uncle. But that, I can kind of see it. I have heard people use the word abar-san for older women before, but I've always thought it was kind of like an in-joke rather than an actual reference. So maybe there's a cultural platform for it that I'm not aware of. At some point I will get back into studying Japanese. I've not done it for a long time.
もしも次にクリスに会えたら言ってやって。未来の私はあなたの7倍もの時間跳躍を可能にしたわよって。
If you ever see Karisu, tell her that in the future, I beat her time leap record 7 times over.
わかった。
Got it. If I ever saw
オカ
Karisu...
リン、こっちの準備は OK だ。
Ocarine, I'm all set.
早いな。
That was fast.
メンテは怠ってないからね。
I've always kept it maintained.
さすがだな。
I figured you would.
まあな。
I bet. The phone wave and the VR headset. They looked a little different than what I'd seen in the old lab, but they were still our future gadgets.
でもマユ姉さんたちとは話さなくていいの？
Oh, but are you sure you don't want to talk to Big Sis Mayu and the others?
今飛ばないと決心が鈍りそうだ。
If I don't go now, I think my resolve is going to weaken.
それに今会えなくてもいくらだって会えるさ。過去の世界で。
And even if I don't see them now, I'll be able to see them whenever I want in the past. Yeah, it's a fair point there, Queen. Maybe it's. I've not watched Naruto, but if it's been using the same kind of context, maybe it is that. It makes sense. Let's say I like learning new things.
そうだな。
That's right. Darius smiled as I took the VR headset out of his hand and put it on my head.
それじゃあまた2週間前でな。
Alright. See you 2 weeks ago.
ああ、2週間前で。
Yeah, see you 2 weeks ago.
しっかりね。
Hang in there.
And then, I jumped back into the past once more. It took a long, long time. The journey was unimaginably long. And now are we gonna see it go all the way back 20 years. We actually are. That's amazing. 31st of January. Now I better save here. Oh, well, I've not made any choices, so I'm going to use this one. I looked at the phone I was holding in my hand. The date read January 31st, 2011. No doubt about it. I was back. I had finally made it back. I'd gone back through so many years. I'd done thousands of time leaps. Gone through the war. I'd almost died. I'd thought of giving up a bunch of times. But each time I'd remembered it all. That ruined world. The piles of corpses. The screams. The shouting. The dripping blood. And Daru and Maho, and how they'd sent me off. After a long, unimaginably long time, I'd finally made it back to this time.
おかり何か良くない知らせでもあったの？
Okabe, did you get some bad news or something?
電話に出てからなんだかぼーっとしてるから。
You've been kind of spacing out since you picked up the phone.
いやそうじゃない。そういうわけじゃないんだ。
No, that's not it. That's not it. Miyuri was here.
もしかしてまだお正月の気分が抜けないのかにゃ？
Are you still thinking about New Year's, Meowby?
Oh, Meowby. Oh. Meowby. Ferris, you might be second best girl, but why do you have such painful puns? Ferris was here.
しっかりしてくれよな。
Get a hold of yourself, man. And Daru. And Lukako. And Suzuha. And Kagari and Maho. Maho and Kagari were here too.
もしかしてこの前の疲れが出ちゃったかしら？
Are you feeling tired after what we did earlier?
この前
Earlier.
ほら、この前アマデウスのサンプル用に記憶データを取ったでしょ？
You know, when we took the samples of your memories for Amadeus.
Oh, right. Daru had mentioned that. He said it was at the end of January.
いやそうじゃないんだ。ちょっとな。
No, that's it. Just, you know.
かがり
Kagari.
なに？オカリンさん。
Huh? What is it, Okabe?
この時代に来てからの記憶はまだ思い出せないのか？
You still can't remember what happened since you came to this time.
Huh? Yeah.
そうか。
I see.
どうしたの？いきなり。
Why'd you ask?
なんでもない。ただ少し確かめただけだ。
No reason. I just wanted to make sure.
何それ？変なオカリンさん。
What? You're being weird, Okarin. Since I'd come from the future, I knew. In this world line, Karisu's memories no longer existed inside Kagari's head.
でも私ね、別にこのままでもいいかなって思ってるんだ。
But it doesn't really bother me anymore, though.
だって ここにはママもいるし、ルカ君やルミお姉ちゃんもいるし、食べ物だっていっぱいあるし、無理に思い出す必要もないんじゃないかって。
I mean, Mommy's here, and Luca's here, and Big Sis Rumi is here too. And there's lots of food too. So maybe I don't need to force myself to remember.
そうか。
I see. Maybe that was fine for now, but the future was going to be filled with sorrow. For Miyuri, for Faris, for Lukako, for Daru, for Suzuha, for Kagari, and for Maho. Did I really make the right choice when I decided to let Kurisu die? After everyone had left and I was alone, all the exhaustion came crashing down on me. I time leaped 3,000 times. I thought I'd be able to work things out in my head along the way, but I'd been so desperate to return to the past that I hadn't had the time. My mind was worn down after all the time leaps. I thought I'd made my decision, but I found myself wavering again and again. I'd only managed to do it by telling myself that I had to get back before I could make any decisions. And now my head just felt so tired. What should I do now? What should I do? For now, I didn't want to think about anything. But I felt too awake to even sleep. With everyone gone, the temperature in the lab quickly dropped. It was freezing. But it was nothing compared to the cold I'd felt before. That world I'd seen right after I'd erased Kurisu's memories from Kagari. Kurisu was there. Mayuri was there. Everyone was there. It was a scene from that very brief peace I'd had during that summer. But that world had been so cold. And now I knew why. That was the world that I'd experienced when I was asleep, existing only as data. A world built only of ones and zeros. So yeah, so we were right when we called it like a memory between worlds in a distant time. The idea of data being cold is quite sensible. Like being alive even when you're dead. Or being forced to stay alive even though you were dead. The people I loved were there, but there was no warmth. I could reach out and touch them, but there wasn't even a little bit of warmth. It was like floating in deep, dark space without any light at all. And Makise Kurisu was now experiencing that too. She was all alone in a cold world, without the slightest trace of warmth. I raised my hand up under the fluorescent light. Ah, I do have access to my phone, but there's no messages or anything like that. Oh, hello! Amadeus App's back. Interesting. Amadeus is there. I don't think it'll work. Yeah, it's not letting me do it. I've just tried to click it and it's not letting me do it. I could see the veins rising up out of it, and the red blood flowing in them. I was alive. There was warmth. But could I really say that I was alive? Now that my memories have been digitized, after being exposed to that cold world, could I still really be called human? I heard a knock at the door and turned my eyes toward it. Maho was standing there.
ヒヤジョウさん。帰ったんじゃなかったのか？
Hyajo, I thought you went home.
ちょっと忘れ物をしちゃってね。
I forgot something.
忘れ物？
Forgot something.
それより、あなたこそ一人で何をしているのかしら？
Anyway, what are you doing here all by yourself?
Maho showed no signs of looking for whatever she had lost. Instead, she came right up and sat down in front of me.
さっきもずっと難しい顔してたわよね。何か気になることでもあるの？
You've had that pensive look on your face for a long time now. Is something bothering you?
Maybe she'd been worried enough to come back and check on me.
私じゃクリスの代わりにはなれないかもしれないけど、それでもよければ話してみて。
I can't take Karisu's place, but I can still talk to you if you want.
ヒアジョさん
Hyajo. There was no need to worry about whether I could tell her or not. I needed her to make the time leap machine. And for that, she needed to hear everything.
嘘みたいな話だが聞いてくれるか
It's not exactly easy to believe, but will you listen to me anyway?
まったくあなたなんて人なの
Sheesh, what's your problem?
That was the first thing she'd said after I finished. Just like last time, it wasn't something that was easy for her to believe. But Maho must have sensed something in the way I spoke, because she listened until I finished. She interrupted me whenever there was something she didn't understand. She was especially interested in the time machine and the time leaps. I told her everything I knew about them.
信じてくれるのか
Will you believe me?
信じないわけにはいかないでしょそんな顔して語られたらそれに
I don't have a choice. After seeing the look on your face and...
実際にこんなものを見せられたら
After seeing this too.
ヒアジョさん
Hyajo.
それにこれで納得がいったわ前から不思議だったのよ
This answers something I'd always wondered about.
クリスは秋葉原に来てほとんど日を置かないまま死んでしまったそんな彼女とあなたがそれほどに仲良くなれたということが
Karisu had died only after a short while after coming to Akihabara. Could you really have gotten to know her in that short span of time?
特にあの子のあの性格でしょそんな期間にそれも男の人と親しくなるなんてよっぽどのことがあったんじゃないかと思っていたのだけど
Especially knowing how she is, right?
Oh, Maho roasting Karisu. She's not wrong, but damn. Makase's not even here to defend herself, and then Maho just turns the heat up anyway.
I thought something must have gone on for her to get so close to a boy that fast.
So that was it. She whispered to herself.
それであなたは何を気にしているの
And, so what's on your mind?
I turned away from
岡
her.
部さん
Okabe.
俺は俺なんだろうか
Am I... me?
どういうこと
What do you mean?
聞いただろ今の俺の頭の中にある記憶それは一度データとなってハードディスクの中に保管されていた記憶だ
You heard what I said, right? My memories were turned into data as stored on a hard drive.
いわば人工記憶と言ってもいい
You could call them artificial memories if you wanted.
そんな俺は果たして俺自身だと言えるんだろうか
Can you really say that I'm me anymore?
生きているそう言えるんだろうか
Can you really say that I'm alive? There was blood running through my body, but what was in my head had been changed into zeros and ones. Didn't that make me no different than Amadeus?
なんだそんなことで悩んでたのバカバカしい
That's what's bothering you? That's stupid!
But Maho just laughed at my worries.
あなたは哲学的ゾンビって知ってる
Have you ever heard of a philosophical zombie?
No, but the last time anyone was called a zombie in the Steins Gate world was the nickname for Karisu, a zombie, as she was referred to. So go on then, what's this hint? Let's take a look. A philosophical zombie. Thought experiment proposed by philosopher David Chalmers to explain qualia. Qualia are individual sensory smells like red, good smell or sweet. A philosophical zombie is someone whose external experience, internal structure, and words and actions mirror humans, but who lacks these qualia. In this case, we would be unable to distinguish between philosophical zombies and ordinary humans. I hate philosophy. One time there was an exam for philosophy, apparently the question was why. And while other candidates all spent 9 pages talking about the intrinsic principle of why and referring to many philosophers of the age, one student just put why not and walked out of the exam.
確か思考実験の一つだろう姿形から 行動に至るまで人間そっくりだが、意識や感情が欠乏している存在は客観的に人間と区別ができるのかどうかという。
It's a thought experiment, right? Something that looks and behaves just like a human, but lacks consciousness and emotions. And whether or not you could objectively distinguish it from a human. I hesitated a little as I answered her sudden question.
ま、大体合っているわね。
Well, that's basically right.
So your answer would have been why not, Avian? You'd have been the troll. Don't get me wrong, it's a good answer, because what does the examiner do with that? Is it wrong? Not really. Is it what you were looking for? Not really. Can you mark it down? Probably not really.
She nodded, satisfied, like a teacher would do.
じゃあ仮にここに人間そっくりの外見をした人工知能が存在するとするわよ。
Then let's say that right here there was an AI that looked just like a human.
人間と同じように振る舞い、同じように行動する。
It looks like a human and acts just like one too.
誰かが困っていれば手を差し伸ばし、悲しい時には涙する。
When someone's in trouble, it reaches out to help them, and when it's sad, it cries.
これは決められたプロセスなのかもしれないけれど、でもそれは人間だって同じ。個人個人で定められたプロセスに従って考えて反応する。
Maybe those are just pre-programmed processes, but humans are no different. Everyone thinks and reacts in accordance with their own individual processes,
Which is why when I was playing through Danganronpa, I probably creeped everybody out when I started laughing at the executions. Don't hate me in the comments, please.
私たちはそのプロセスを意識や感情という言葉に置き換えているだけじゃないかしら。
We just happen to call these processes things like consciousness and feelings.
I thought I understood what Maho was trying to say.
つまり AI にだって感情はある
In other words, AIs have feelings too.
少なくとも私たち科学者はそういうものを作り出すために日々研究を重ねているつもりよ。
At least we scientists doing our best to create them.
She puffed out her chest with pride.
じゃあ岡部さん、あなたは感情を持った AI は人ではないと思う？
So, Okabe, do you think you're not an AI with emotions?
If they looked just like a person and thought just like them and had feelings too, they were a person.
いや
No,
でしょ？そもそも個人を個人たらしめているのは記憶よ。
Right. It's memories that make someone who they are anyway.
その人が生まれ経験したこと、感じたもの、その集合体が人間なの。
Memories are everything people have experienced since they were born.
だから岡部倫太郎、たとえ一度データになっていても、あなたの記憶と体を持つあなたは紛れもなく人間、岡部倫太郎よ。心配いらない。
So, Okabe Rintaro, even if your memories were once data, you've got your body and your memories. You're human. You're Okabe Rintaro. Don't worry about it.
ヒアジョーさん
Piaggio.
だいたいクリスの作り出したっていうそのタイムリープマシンだって記憶を一度データ化して還元するものなんでしょ？
And anyway, doesn't Carisu's time leap machine digitize data to send it back in time?
だったら今さら思い悩むだけ無駄だと思わない？
So is there any need to worry about this now?
That was what Daru had told me in the future too. But strangely, when she said it, it made me feel better. Oh, poor
こう
Daru.
いう時クリスならもっと的確なことを言えたのかもしれないけど。
Poor Daru, he says something really useful, but Okabe only listens to it when it's said by Maho. Daru, the MVP that seems to always get slapped.
Maybe Carisu would have been able to come up with a better way to put it, but
いやそんなことないよ十分だ
No, that's not true. This was more than enough. Maho had given her opinion, as a brain scientist, that I was still me. There was a strength in her words, just like there had been in Carisu's when she'd driven me forward. I remember what Maho had said before.
あなたは天才で 所詮私はサリエリだったってことよ。
You're a genius. And in the end, I'm just Salieri.
She'd been speaking to the memories of Kurisu inside Kagari. But
ヒアジョーさん、君はサリエリなんかじゃない。
Hyajo, you're not Salieri.
Huh?
立派なアマデウスだ。
You're Amadeus. That's right. I'm here right now. I'm alive and here in this time. Not in that cold sea of black data. I'm here in this time. A light came on in the darkness. My cold heart began to warm. But Kurisu, she was still trapped inside that world. Inside that sterile, lifeless world that froze you to the depths of your soul. Even after her death, her memories were still alive. And there were all kinds of conspiracies forming around her living memories. Even after she'd lost her body, Kurisu's pain continued. No, it wasn't just Kurisu. Kagari and Suzuha. And in the future, Miyuri, Faris, Lukako, and Daru too. Everyone was suffering. Everyone was miserable. But still they tried to move forward. All I had cared about was whether Miyuri survived. I thought that even if the Third World War came, no matter what happened to the world, as long as Miyuri was happy, that was all that mattered. I tried to think that. I thought that no matter how much blood and tears awaited us in the future, as long as things were fine now, that was all that mattered. I thought I'd understood. I thought I'd understood how awful the future that Suzuha described was. And how hard Daru and Suzuha would have to fight. I thought I understood all that. Suzuha, firing her gun and staining her hands with blood like it was nothing at all. Miyuri and Faris, pale and colourless. Lukako lying on the ground and never getting up again. Kagari and the others, whose lives were ruined by fate. I'd seen her with my own eyes, and touched her with my own hands. And then I finally understood. I'd only been pretending to know, so I could run away. I told myself that I was going to die in 2025, and looked the other way. 2025. I wasn't dead. Everyone just thought so. Everyone had been deceived. That's right. Deceived. Me in the past, and everyone else in the future. The world was deceived. I thought the future was settled, but a different future awaited me.
シュタインズゲート世界線への道は険しい。一度や二度やり直したところでたどり着ける道ではないだろう。
The path to Steins Gate is a hard one. Trying again once or twice probably won't get you there.
けれど、まずはそこから始めることがシュタインズゲートへとつながるんじゃないか。11年前、オカリンはそう言ってた。
But I think starting there is the best way to get to it. That's what you said 11 years ago.
さあ、僕たちがいるこの世界も無駄じゃない。きっと必要な世界なんだ。少なくとも今の僕はそう思ってる。
So this world we're in isn't wasted. It's a world that we need. At least that's what you said. I had no way of knowing what would make me say that 14 years from now. All I knew is that 14 years from now, I would know this day was coming. So maybe I should do what I said. If that future in 2036 was necessary, then maybe a world where Kurisu was released from her electronic prison was necessary too. No matter how hard the path would be, I had to take the first step. And what I needed right now was that first step.
ヒアジョーさん、
Hyajo,
何？
what?
アメリカに帰る前にもう少し付き合ってもらえるか。
Can you help me a little more before you go back to America?
そうね。条件が2つあるわ。
Okay, but on two conditions.
条件
Conditions?
一つはこのタイムマシンを調べさせてほしいってこと。
First, you let me look at that time machine.
もう一つは
And second?
あなたのことオカリンさんって呼ばせてもらう。あなたは私をマホって呼びなさい。
You're going to let me call you Ocarine. You call me Maho. Oh,
悪くない条件だと思うけど。
I don't think that's too much, do you?
That cheeky grin there. There was an innocent smile on her face, the likes of which I'd never seen
分
before.
かった魔法
Alright, Maho.
よろしくオカリンさん。
Thanks, Ocarine.
When she put a small hand against mine, I felt a solid warmth. Oh, blast. They started holding
どう
hands.
したんだにゃオカリン。一度帰った後にわざわざ呼び出すにゃんて。
What is it, Ocarine? Why did Mew call me back after I already left?
そうだよ。僕なんてそれほど近いわけじゃないんだからさ。話があるなら帰る前に言ってほしかったのだぜ。
That's right. I don't live close to here. If you wanted to talk about something, you should have said so before I left. I called all the lab members back after I left to go home, and they weren't happy.
それでお話って何かなオカリン。
So, what did you want to talk about, Ocarine?
LINE や電話じゃダメなお話ですか？
Is it something you couldn't tell us online or on the phone?
ああその前に鈴葉
Yeah. But first, Suzuha.
何？
What?
一つ聞きたいお前は俺のことをどう思っている？
I have a question. What do you think about me?
どうとは？
What do you mean?
オカリン、まさか。
Wait, Ocarine! You can't!
いくらオカリンでも鈴葉はあげらんないよ。お父さんは認めません。ダメ、絶対。
Even for you! Ocarine, I'm not giving you Suzuha! Daddy won't allow it! Never! I ignored Daru, who seemed to have gotten the wrong idea completely, and turned back towards Suzuha.
お前はこの半年俺のことを見ていたはずだ。その上で心の中ではどう思っていた？率直な言葉を聞かせてほしい。
You've been watching me since last summer. What have you been thinking about me? I want your honest opinion.
言っていいのか？
You sure?
あ
Yeah.
正直言うと腹が立ってしょうがなかった。
To be honest, you've been pissing me off.
Yeah, that was honest. I chuckled.
私や父さんやまゆ姉さんだけじゃない。ルミ姉さんもルカ兄さんもカガリも。
It's not just me, Dad, and Big Sis Mayu. It's Big Sis Rumi, and Brother Luca, and Kagari.
未来の世界ではみんな辛い思いをしている。明日は生きているかどうかもわからない。母さんみたいに無残に殺されてしまうかもしれない。
In the future, everyone suffers. They don't know if they're gonna be alive tomorrow. They might die horribly, like my mom did.
そんな世界で必死になって生きてるんだ。
And they're trying their best to survive anyway.
Yeah, that's a good reaction, Queen. A very good reaction to Daru. But again, it's like, get your hands off my daughter! I've had that conversation in the past. Not with kids of my own, but their dads. And they were correct to do that.
それなのに弱音ばかり吐いて自分ばかりが辛いようなことを言って。
But all you do is whine and act like you're the only person in the world with problems.
Once she started talking, she didn't stop. This must have been building up for a long time.
もちろんオカリンおじさんが辛い経験をしてきたことは知ってる。何度も苦しい目にあってそれで立ち上がれなくなったことだって知ってる。
Of course, I know you've been through a lot. I know you suffered again and again. until you finally couldn't go on.
それでも私たちにはオカリンおじさんしか頼れる人がいないんだ。
But you're all we have, Uncle Ocarine.
She looked down, clenched her fists and gritted her teeth.
私や父さんに代わりが務まるのならどんなことでもやる。どんな辛い思いをしようが、どんな苦しみが待ち構えていようが、それでも何だってやる。
If I could take your place, I'd do anything. No matter what I had to go through. No matter how much it hurt, I'd do it.
Scissor.
だけど私たちじゃどうしようもできないから。オカリンおじさんじゃなければどうにもできないから。
But there's nothing we can do. You're the only one who can do anything.
She suddenly looked up and I could see on her face all the complicated feelings she'd been holding back.
それなのにおじさんと来たら無理だとかできないとか勘弁してくれとか、そんな弱音ばかりで話を聞いてくれようとさえしない。
But all you do is talk about how it's impossible, or you can't do it, or you don't want to. You just whine, and you won't even listen to me.
父さんの手前だから言わなかったけど、私はそんなおじさんの態度にずっと腹が立ってた。
I've never said anything because Dad was around, but you've always pissed me off.
本当にぶん殴ってやりたいくらいだったよ。
A lot of the time, I've just wanted to punch you.
Bro fist from me, Scissorheart, because it's been pissing me off as well. I agree 100%. Meanwhile, Snowbeaver jumping in saying, "Hey, good evening to you. How you doing, mate?" It probably felt good to get that off her chest.
スザー、何もそこまで言わんでも。
Scissorheart, you don't need to go that far.
そうだにゃ。オカリンだって分かってるんだにゃ。
That's right. Ocarina understands, Nia.
I did understand. Yeah. I understood that something had to be done.
だったらそうしてもらおうか。
Then why not do it?
そうするとは。
Do what? Ah, so you opened your PS5 and cleaned it all out, so it's not shutting off now. That's awesome. I usually use a vacuum cleaner with like the bus head attached and suck off the dust, and it seems to work fine.
殴りたかったんだろう。だったら殴ってみればいい。
You wanted to hit me, right? Then hit me.
でも
Huh? But
遠慮はいらない。
No need to hold back.
すずさん、やめて。オカリンは。
Scissorheart, stop it. Ocarina is...
いいんだ、マユリ。
It's fine, Miuri. This was my way of settling things. With Suzuha. With the future. And with myself.
オカリンさん。
Ocarina.
もしかしてそういう性癖だったら止めんけど。
Is that your fetish? I guess I won't stop you, but
本当にいいんだな。
you're really sure? Suzuha took a step towards me. Yeah. I was ready.
じゃあ本気で行く。
Alright. This is gonna hurt.
いや待て、少しは手加減を。
Huh? No, wait. You could go easy.
Yeah!
ハグボア。
She hit me hard enough to knock me across the room.
悪かった。少し力が入りすぎた。
Thank you very much, best girl. Thank you very much. He's been overdue, that.
Oh, sorry. I guess I put a little too much force into it.
今すごい音したわよ。
I just heard a really loud crunch.
大丈夫、オカリン。
Are you okay, Ocarina?
Everyone ran over and looked down at me. Yeah. That hurt a lot. It probably did more damage to my brain than reading Steiner or the time leaps. Ooh, Suzuha. Damn. Memo to me and anybody watching. Don't piss off best girl. It's not wise. But...
Okabe さん
Okabe. It woke me up. Now I just had to do what I could.
Okarin?
Ocarine?
もしかして
Is that Kyoma?
オカリン
Ocarine?
違うぞマユリ
No, Mayuri.
法院京馬だ
I am Hoen Kyoma.
Kyoma!
そうだ我が名は法院京だ
Yes! My name is Hoen Kyoma.
ラボメンナンバー001このラボの創設者にして混沌を望み世界の支配構造を覆すマッドサイエンティストフローイン・キャーナだ
Lab member 001, the founder of this lab, the man who longs for chaos, the mad scientist who will upend the ruling hierarchy of the world, Hoen Kyoma.
ルカコ
Lukaku,
Right!
白衣を持て
bring me my white lab coat.
京馬さん
Right! Okay, I mean, Kyoma!
京馬が復活したにゃー
Kyoma is back, Nia!
父さんこれは
Dad, what is this?
やったな鈴葉ようやくオカリンがやる気になったのだぜ
You did it, Suzuha! Okari's finally ready to fight!
京馬さんどうぞ
Here you are, Kyoma!
うむ
Indeed. I put on my lab coat for the first time in a very long time. It had been sitting on the shelf in the back so long that it smelled a little moldy.
そうこれだこれこそが我が聖なる白金の鎧今この時法院京馬は復活した長い眠りから蘇ったのだ
That's right! This is it! This is my holy silver armor! At this moment, Hoen Kyoma has awakened! He has revived from his long slumber! Kagari and Maho were seeing Hoen Kyoma for the first time and they were shocked into silence.
何なの殴られたショックでおかしくなったの
What just happened? Did that punch drive him crazy?
思い出した
I remember now. Huh?
法院京馬ママがいつも言ってた名前
Hoen Kyoma! Mommy used to talk about him all the time.
いつかきっと法院京馬が復活して私たちの未来を照らしてくれるって
She said that someday Hoen Kyoma will come back to life and bring light to our future.
And of course he's going to put on the moldy lab coat. He's a mad scientist. He's not going to be put off by mold. He doesn't care about that. He'll be like, mutate on my body, take me to the new level of chaos. Let me ascend to some nightmarish creature. Alan Kyoma isn't scared of mold.
いやちょっとついていけないんですけど
I'm having a really hard time keeping up with all this.
おいそこのロリッコ
You, the lolly.
Huh?
お前だお前
You, I'm talking to you.
もしかして私のことを言ってるんじゃないでしょうね
What? You're not talking to me, are you?
この場にロリッコといえばお前しかいないだろ
You're the only lolly here, aren't you?
誰がロリッコよ誰が
Who are you calling
a lolly!
貴様にはラボ面ナンバー009の栄誉を与える。以後この不法隠居魔の手足となり俺たちのオペレーションに参加するがいい。
I give you the honor of being lab member 009. You shall be my servants and participate in our operations.
なんで私があなたの手足にならなきゃいけないのよ。それにそのラボ面ナンバーって何？
Why do I have to be your servant? And what the hell is a lab member?
名前の通りこのラボの正式メンバーに選ばれた証だ。光栄に思うがいい。
Just like the name suggests, it means you're an official member of this lab. You must feel very honored.
光栄にって。
Honored?
それから椎名係。
Next, Sheena Kagari.
貴様もラボ面ナンバー010だ。わかったな。
You're lab member 010. Got it?
Okay.
I mean, what do you say to that? You know, you just see this guy that's like a complete nutter in front of you. It's like, you're no number 010. Remember that. That's your name. Remember it well.
ちょっと今日フェイリスたちはラボ面にはしてくれないのかにゃ。
Wait, Kioma? We don't get to be lab members, yeah? Faris and Lukaku seemed upset. Come to think of it, I'd made them lab members in the Alpha World line, but not this one.
言っていなかったが、もちろんお前たちはすでにラボ面だ。
I never told you, but of course you're already lab members.
ルカコは006、フェイリスは007、そして鈴葉は008。いいな。
Lukaku is 006. Faris is 007. Sorry, I had to do it. And Suzuha is 008. Got it?
Yes, sir.
やったにゃ。
Yay!
よくわからないけど了解した。
I don't quite understand, but Roger.
なあオカリン、それおかしくね？それじゃあ004と005が不在じゃん。
Wait, Ocarine? Who's 004 and 005?
その2つには戦略があるんだな。
Those two numbers are reserved for Kurisu and Moeka. To be honest, I didn't like the idea of leaving Moeka as an official lab member. But in order to reach a future where that could be true, I would have to face the past right now. That was my decision.
では全員が揃ったところで改めて宣言する。
Now that everyone's here, I have something to declare.
本日2011年1月31日をもって新たなるオペレーションを発動する。
As of today, January 31st, 2011, we will begin a new operation.
目的は予定された未来の粉砕、世界の未来そのものを覆すこと。それが俺たちの目的だ。いいな。
Our goal is to annihilate the coming future, to overturn the future of the world itself. That is our goal. Got it?
俺だ。
It's me.
これより俺たちは新たなるオペレーションを実行に移す。
We will now execute our new operation.
未来の俺は言った。いくつもの未来のその先にシュタインズゲートは待っていると。
My future self told me that Steins Gate waits beyond several futures.
これから導く未来がたとえ茨の道だとしてもきっと無駄なものではないはずだ。
Even if the future awaits us as a path of thorns, it will not be useless.
分かっている。俺たちの目指す扉、そこにたどり着くには途方もない時間がかかるだろう。
I know it would take an incredible amount of time to reach the door we seek.
いかなる機関が俺たちを阻止せんと立ちふさがるかもしれない。
Many different organizations may rise up to stop us.
それでも俺は何度だってやり直してやるさ。
But I'll start over as many times as it takes.
健闘を祈ってくれ。エル、ブサイ、カンガルー。
Pray for my success. El Sai Koguru. Then it's like, what is this fucking idiot doing? And they are technically looking at me while I'm doing the voice. I suppose they are asking me the same question, but you're not allowed to break the fourth wall, game, so don't. After I finished my phone call, I realised that everyone was staring at me. Please don't look at me that way. I'm embarrassed too.
何それ
What did I just see?
これはいわばそう儀式のようなものだ
This is... I know, it's like a ceremony!
儀式ね
A ceremony. Right.
Yes, this was a ceremony. A ceremony to stop my fears from getting the best of me again.
まさかオカリンさんあなたクリス相手にもそんな態度だったんじゃないでしょうね
Wait, Ocarine, don't tell me you did that around Karisu.
Okabe ではない今日まだ
I'm not Okabe! I'm Kiyoma!
ふざけているの
Are you messing with me?
マホタン、あんま突っ込むのやめてあげて。オカリンもまだ模索してる最中だから。
Maho-san, don't give it too much of a hard time. He's still trying to figure things out.
そっかこれが法王院京馬さんなんだね
Wow, so this is Ho and Kiyoma, huh?
そうだよ狂気のマッドサイエンティストさんなのです
That's right, he's the mad scientist of madness.
Isn't that like, it's not like saying you're the pyromaniac of fire. Alright, you're the headache that hurts. The mad scientist of madness. It's like, wait, eh? What?
古のアルケミストの生まれ変わりでもあるのにゃ
And the reincarnation of an ancient alchemist, Nia.
Well, alchemy is the quest to turn junk into gold. Isaac Newton is believed to be the final alchemist. Yet in fictional conspiracy theories, a technology that allows for any kind of material, even the human body and soul, to be changed into any other. Human body and soul changed into another, eh? Is that referencing a certain full metal alchemist, perhaps? However, the principle of equivalent exchange must be observed. Real alchemists exist in medieval Europe, where they tried to use chemical methods to create precious metals. The techniques they developed would become the foundation of modern chemistry.
精神残魔流の師範でもあるんですよ
He's also the master of the Seishin Samba school.
す
Wow!
ダメだ父さん私ついていけない
Sorry, Dad. I'm having trouble keeping up with this.
Please don't stare at me like that. It's breaking my heart.
それで具体的にはどうするつもりなの
So, what exactly is the plan?
まず最初に言っておくが俺たちが最終的に目指すのは第三次世界大戦の起こらない未来だ
First, let me make something clear. Our final goal is a future where the Third World War never occurs. Just like I told myself a second ago, I didn't expect to get to the world line we wanted. The Steins Gate world line immediately. Just like I had to build up to the Beta world line little by little, I'd have to go through many pasts and many futures. And to do that, I first had to write this world line's future. This world had lost Karisu, and the price for that was dire indeed. But I wouldn't let the future that awaited us be so full of suffering and pain. I wouldn't let it happen. Everything had to begin with that. Even if the future before us would end up never having happened at all. That was my responsibility, since I had chosen this world.
このベータ世界線においても俺が何度か世界線の変動を経験してきたことは説明したな
I told you all I've been through several world line changes since coming to the Beta world line, right?
まずはその原因を取り除かなければならない
first, we need to remove the cause of those changes.
原因って何なのにゃ？
What is it, Nia?
マキセ・クリスのノート PC とハードディスク、そしてアマデウスに残るクリスの記憶。
Makise Kurisu's laptop and hard drive, and her memories that are stored in Amadeus. The time machine paper contained on the hard drive and all of her memories relating to it. All of those wordline changes. It was safe to assume that they'd been caused by Stratfor and others fighting over them.
ゆえにクリスのノート PC とハードディスクの破棄、並びにクリスの記憶のデータを消去すること、これが今回のオペレーションの最終目的となる。
Thus, the final goal of our operation is to destroy Kurisu's laptop and hard drive, and delete her memory data.
クリスのデータを消去？そんな
You can't delete Carisu's memory data. You can't.
本気なの？
Are you serious?
Yes.
でもあの記憶はクリスが生きていた証なのよ。
But those memories are all we have left of her.
あの子がこの世界で私たちと同じ時間を過ごしたっていう証拠なのよ。
They're all we had to prove that she was ever here.
私は消去なんてしてほしくない。
I don't want to delete them.
I knew how she felt. Until a few days ago, I would have agreed.
だったら君はクリスの記憶が悪用されてもいいというのか？
Then you're okay with them being misused.
それは
That's not.
俺たちのいるこの世界線に至るまでのいくつかの過去において、あいつの記憶は争いの種になってきた。
On my way to this world line, I saw her memories start wars again and again.
それに多くの人間が巻き込まれている。
And many people have been caught up in that.
そこにいるカガリだってそうだ。
Kagari was just one of them. Yep, she has nothing to say to that. What happened to Kagari in the past several years, that probably hadn't changed in this world line. Which meant that was just another tragedy caused by the Pandora's box that was Karisu's memories.
それに俺は一度データの中の世界を経験して知った。あの世界の冷たさをな。
And I've experienced that world of data too. I've experienced its cold. That's right. I knew. I knew how cold that world was. It was a world inside a tiny box with no past, present, or future.
それほどまでに暗く冷たい世界にずっとクリスを閉じ込めておいて、君は平気なのか？
Do you want to leave Karisu in that cold, dark world forever?
それにあいつが生きていたという証は俺たち自身のここにある。
We've got proof that she existed right here. I put my finger to my head.
俺たちが覚えていること、そしてその上で第三次世界大戦の起きない平穏な世界へと導くこと。
We've got what we remember. And we've got the chance to build a peaceful world where a third world war never happens.
それこそがあいつが生きていた証拠になるんじゃないのか？
Isn't that all the proof we need that she was alive? Maho fell silent as the whole group turned toward her.
陳腐なセリフね。それこそクリスが聞いていたら笑われるわよ。
That's really cheesy. If Karisu heard that, she'd laugh at you.
だろうな。
I'm sure.
だけど陳腐だと思えることにほど真実はあるのかもしれないわね。
But maybe it's a cheesy cliche because it's true.
Maho's dark frown became a smile.
あなたに従うわ。
I'll do what you want me to.
ありがとう。
Thank you.
ダル、クリスの PC とハードディスクはお前が持っているんだよな。
Daru, you've got Karisu's laptop and hard drive, right?
マホタンから預かって簡単には見つからんところに隠してる。
Yep. I got it from Maho-tan and hid it somewhere it wouldn't be found easily.
それはアマデウスの件が終わったらすぐに破棄してくれ。
As soon as we're done with Amadeus, destroy them.
本当にいいん？
You sure? He looked back at Maho, and this time she nodded.
でもそれは私にやらせて。
Yeah, but let me do it.
OK
Okay. The problem now was Amadeus.
マホアマデウスのあるサーバーにアクセスできるか？
Maho, do you still have access to Amadeus' server?
ええ、できるはずよ。橋田さん、ちょっと PC を貸してもらえる？
Yeah, I should. Hashida, can I borrow your computer?
あちょい待ち
Huh? Oh, sure, just a second. Yeah, I need to shut down all my Lolita games and my anime porn links and the secret photos I've been taking with the cameras of the girls when they've been getting into the shower. I've got to get rid of all that first. Once that's all out of the way, you can use it. Darren motioned for her to stop with one hand, then started typing something into the keyboard.
何をしてるんだにゃダルニャン。
What are you doing, Darren Yan?
一応 IP がバレないよう厳重に細工を OK どうぞ
Just some tricks to make sure our IP isn't tracked. Okay, go ahead. Maho took over from Daru with the computer.
Huh?
おかしいわ。アクセスできない。
That's strange. I can't access it.
どういうことだ？
What do you mean?
パスワードが間違ってるってことは
You mean you got the wrong password?
そんなミスするわけないでしょ。今まで何度も入力してきたんだから。
I wouldn't make that mistake. Do you know how many times I've entered that password?
Actually, I'd made that mistake a lot, because when I use my work computer, I have to always change my password. And when I go on holiday, can I ever fucking remember it when I go home? Back to work? Nope. So I'm looking forward to Tuesday when I'm going to have the same call with IT to get my password reset again. Maho tried the password a few more times, but she still couldn't access the server.
私のアクセス権限自体が停止されちゃってるみたい。
Looks like my access has been revoked.
どういうことなのこれ。ちょっと教授に電話してみる。
What's going on with this? I'll call the professor.
Maho took out her phone and called Dr. Waskinen. She put the phone next to her for a moment, then frowned and put it down.
ダメ。繋がらない。
No good. He's not picking up.
She tried calling Dr. Reyes too, but that didn't work either.
もう、どうなってるのよこれ。
Jeez, what's going on with this thing?
やはりそう簡単にはいかないか。
I guess it wouldn't be that easy, huh? If Maho's access rights had been taken away, that must have meant someone was about to do something.
別のアプローチ方法を探ってみよう。
Let's try another approach.
ビクトル・コンドリア大学のサーバーにハッキングできるか？
Can you hack the Victor Condria University servers?
OK ちょっとやってみる
Okay, just give me a second.
簡単に言ってるけど、うちの研究所のセキュリティ結構厳しいわよ。
Wow. Their security is an old system called Mainframe. I recognize that on sight. It's a system that belonged in the early 1990s. And companies still use it.
You're making it sound easy. Our lab security is pretty tight.
大丈夫だ。なんたってダルはスーパーハッカーだからな。
Don't worry. Daru's a super hacker.
それを言うならスーパーハッカーな
You mean a hacker, man? He had broken search security in just 20 hours. I had absolute faith in him. Daru and Maho were staring at the screen discussing something. He was probably asking her for details to make his hacking more efficient. I needed to do what I could while I waited. I went back into the development room and opened the box that had arrived just that day. Mayuri looked over my shoulder into the box.
電子レンジちゃんだ。
Wow, it's a microwave.
唐揚げは解凍しないからな。
I'm not using it to heat up your fried chicken, okay?
残念。みんながお腹空いたらジューシー唐揚げナンバーワンを振る舞ってあげようと思ったのに。
Too bad. I was going to make some juicy chicken #1 for everybody if they were hungry.
Poor Mayashi. All she wants is her juicy chicken #1. He's such a meanie pants, isn't he, Hoen Kiyoma? First, I needed to reconstruct the phone wave. After that, I'd have Maho help me make the time leap machine. On my way back from the future, I'd memorized every bit of how it worked, so it didn't take very long.
田さん、あなたすごいわ。
Hashida, you're amazing!
It was about 30 minutes later when I heard Maho's awed voice.
やったのか？
Did you get it?
僕にかかればこれくらい朝飯前だぜ。
For a tech quality hacker like me, this is nothing.
スーパーハッカーの名は伊達じゃないな。
The name Super Hacker isn't just for show, huh?
じゃあ早速アマデウスのデータを探してくれ。
Alright, see if you can find Amadeus's data.
待って、今開いて。
Hold on, I'm opening it now.
So we're back here again. I swallowed and looked at the screen as I listened to the mouse click.
Eh?
ない。
It's gone.
アマデウスもクリスの記憶データもあったはずのフォルダからなくなってるわ。
Amadeus, Crease's memories, all the photos that should be there are gone.
すでに持ち出されたということか。
So someone took it already.
待てよ。
Wait. I unlocked my phone and called up the home screen. And there is Amadeus, so I'm going to quickly save this again. And we're still in Promised Rinashimento. We're still in that chapter. Amadeus's icon was still there.
なあ、このアプリからアマデウスにアクセスできると思うか？
Hey, do you think you could access Amadeus from this app?
Eh?
Maho looked over at my phone.
どうかしら。アマデウスのデータそのものがサーバーに残ってないならさすがに無理なんじゃ。
I don't know. If Amadeus's data is gone from the server, I don't think it would work.
試してみて。
Give it a try.
どうしたの？
What's wrong?
いざ繋がった時のことを考えるとな。慎重にいかないと。
I was just thinking about what I'd do if it connected. I need to be careful.
そうね。誰かに見られているかもしれない。
That's right. Someone might be watching you.
Eh?
どうしたダル？
What is it, Daru?
ここさらに鍵がかけられてるフォルダがある。
Look, there's a folder with another lock in it.
どれ？
Which one?
Memory. Maho leaned in and stared at the monitor.
こんなフォルダ今までなかったわ。
That's strange. That didn't used to be there.
かなり厳重なセキュリティがかかってるっぽい。さっきのとは比にならんくらい。
It's pretty heavily secured, way more than the rest of the system.
アマデウスはそっちに移されたのかしら。
Was that where Amadeus was moved?
でも一体誰が？そんな権限を持っているのはレスキネン教授ぐらいよ。
But who would do that? Only Dr. Leskinen has that level of authority.
レスキネン教授には裏の顔があったか、あるいは教授の身に何かあったか。
Maybe Dr. Leskinen is up to something and we don't know it. Or maybe something happened to him. Neither possibility was appealing.
ダル、そのフォルダは一旦保留だ。
Daru, we'll leave that folder alone for now.
次はストラト4のサーバーにハックを仕掛けてくれ。
Next, I want you to hack Stratforce servers.
え？ストラト4ってなんでストラト 4？
Huh? Stratfor? Why?
おそらく今回の騒動の一端を担っているはずだ。以前ハックしたことがあるから簡単だろう。
They probably involved in all of this. You've done it once before. Can you do it again?
つかオカリ、なんでそんなことまで知ってんの？エスパーかよ。
Wait, how did you know that? Are you psychic?
俺を誰だと思っている？狂気のマッドサイエンティストは全てお見通しだ。
Who do you think I am? The mad scientist of madness knows all. Give me a sec, he said as he typed something else into the computer.
ストラト4のサーバーはと
Stratforce servers, got it. I could tell he'd done it once before. This time he got through a lot faster than it took him to break into the university.
そのアマデウスっつうシステムのデータを探せばいいんだよね。
So you want me to find data on that Amadeus system?
ちょっと待って。
Hold on!
Maho leaned her tiny body forward and took the mouse from Daru. She clicked on an icon. The screen filled with some kind of text.
これレポートだわ。
This is a report.
She opened several more files, but since they were written in English, we couldn't read them.
これは
What is this?
一体何のレポートなんだ？
What are these reports about?
実験よ。ストラト4が行っていた人体実験。
Experiments. Stratfor was experimenting on humans.
人体実験？
Experimenting? On humans?
どうやらストラト4は記憶の移植実験を行っていたみたいね。
It looks like Stratfor was working on human memory transplantation.
誰かの記憶データを別人に移し定着させる実験をいくつも行っているわ。
They did a lot of experiments trying to transfer memories from one person to another.
Memory transplant experiments. That was...
最初こそ動物を使っていたようだけど、最終的には生身の人間で行われてる。
They started with animals, but by the end they were using live humans.
被験者には身寄りのない人を利用したみたい。大人から子供まで人種も様々。
They used people with no relatives as subjects. Kids, adults, people from different ethnic backgrounds.
She looked down at the report again.
どうした？まだ何かあるのか？
What is it? Is there something else?
どうやら彼ら記憶移植に関する新しい実験に着手しようとしてるみたい。
It looks like they're about to start a new memory transplant experiment.
It was safe to assume the experiments had something to do with the time machine. They were trying to force open the black box of Karisu's memories in order to gain information about the time machine. Even if they couldn't get the password from the laptop from Amadeus, if they could access her memories directly, it would give them everything they needed. It was just like what had been done to Kagami in the last world line, but on a more advanced level.
とにかく今はクリスの記憶データを探すのが先決だ。ダル、データはありそうか？
Our priority now is finding Karisu's memory data. Daru, think it's there? He took the mouse back from Maho's side.
いや、ないね。それらしいもんは見当たらない。
No, look, I'm not seeing anything. What was going on? Hadn't Stratfor stolen the Amadeus data from Victor Condria?
一番怪しいのはやっぱ大学のサーバーじゃね？あのプロテクトがかかってたとこ。
That university server is the most suspicious. The one with the locked folder. Which meant that they were working without stealing the data. Did they hack it like we did, or...
どうする？
What's the plan?
魔法を信じよう。ダル、侵入できるか？
We'll believe Maho. Daru, can you get us in?
できるけど、これはちょっと骨が折れると思われ。
I can, but it's gonna be a pain.
どれくらいかかりそうだ？
How long is it going to take?
わからんけど、下手したらまるっと半日以上はかかるかも。
I couldn't tell you. Might take more than 12 hours. If Daru said so, it must be something really heavily protected.
しかも途中でハッキングかけてるのがバレたら全部おじゃん。
And if they catch me hacking halfway through, it's all over. We needed to hack in and get rid of Karisu's memory data. And until Daru finished, we needed to keep Stratfor distracted. The problem was how.
アマデウスと通信している最中はこっちの位置情報はどうなるんだ？
What happens to my location data when I'm talking to Amadeus?
全部把握されるわ。当然アマデウスのプログラムを持っている連中にもね。
It all gets recorded. Of course, the people who've got Amadeus' program could see it. I thought so.
問題はアマデウスにつながるかどうか。
The question is, do I contact her or not? First, I need to see if this app even works anymore. If it did, I had an idea.
真帆、一つ無茶な頼みをしていいか。
Maho, can I ask you something crazy? Right, well, whatever the crazy thing is, we're going to pick it up in 2 nights' time on Tuesday at 8 PM GMT when we see exactly how crazy his plan is. And well, who'd have thought it? Hoen Kiyoma has come back. And we've seen what happens in the future. There's been all kinds of lies and deception, and we're going to try and unravel them all. So join me again on Tuesday evening at 8 PM GMT, and I'll be back for another part of this epic sci-fi visual novel series. Until then, thank you all very, very much for watching, and good night.